Calling to order the April 1st, 2026 Newport News Planning Commission meeting. First is roll call.
Commissioner Lambert,
Present.
Commissioner Michelle,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Shook,
Present.
Commissioner Taylor,
Present.
Commissioner Dias,
Present.
Commissioner Archer,
Present.
Commissioner Black,
Here.
Chairperson Shook, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, Commissioner Taylor will read the Planning Commission creed and approval of agenda.
Thank you, Chairman. The Newport News Planning Commission is mandated by state law, and its members are appointed by City Council. Section 15.2, Tac 2210 of the Virginia Code, the Code of Virginia states in part that every locality shall create a planning commission in order to promote the orderly development of the locality and its environment. The statutory purpose is to improve the public health, safety, convenience, and welfare of our citizens, and to plan the future development of our communities. And in serving in this statutory purpose, the Commission invites the comments at the public hearing of its interested citizens on matters before it, and welcomes your presence. Chairperson Shook, I move that we adopt the agenda before us.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, Commissioner Williams will lead us in the invocation.
Almighty Creator, we invoke your presence right now as we serve this community well. May we look for your wisdom and guidance in all of these matters, that everything that is said and done be pleasing to you, and that it serves our entire citizenry here in Newport News as we take this seat. And we thank you for this opportunity to serve in this manner. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Commissioner Michaud will lead us in the pledge.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is approval of the minutes from 1st to January 21st, 2026. Planning Commission public meeting. Anyone have any changes, corrections, additions?
Move for approval of the minutes as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor, stand by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is approval of the minutes from the City Planning Commission work session on March 18th, 2026. Any additions, modifications?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we're opening up a public hearing. First on our agenda is CZ 2026 Tech 001, City of Newport News Economic Development Authority. And this is being presented by Saul Gleiser.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we have application CZ 2026-0001 for a change of zoning from R9 mixed use and neo-traditional overlay with proffers and P1 Park to M1 light industrial and P1 Park with proffers. Newport News Economic Development Authority is the owner and applicant. The properties are located at 165 and 185 Yorktown Road and contain a total of 143.40 acres. Currently, the property is vacant. North of the properties are Interstate I-64 and a vacant land on property zone C1 Retail Commercial and P1 Park, respectively. South, we have the Whole Mansion on property zone P1 Park. West, we have the CSX Railroad Corridor and Skiffies Creek Park on property zone P1 Park. We have single-family homes on property zone R1 single-family dwelling. We have the Newport News Behavioral Health Center on property zone R5 and low-density multiple-family dwelling and Carlton Homes planned residential development on property zone R4 single-family dwelling. To the east, there is a vacant lot on property zone P1 Park. The One City, One Future 2040 land use map designates the properties as industrial. The intent of the rezoning is to support advanced manufacturing and industrial development, which is consistent with this designation. In the leasehold plan recommendations, the future land use for the two subject properties is also industrial, in order to allow for light industrial uses that could create new employment opportunities. On June 27, 2006, City Council approved change of zoning ZZ 06-2023 from M1 light industrial to R9 mixed use with neo-traditional overlay district, with proffers for these properties. This property and Enview were rezoned together for the Ashton development, a mixed-use community for about 1,500 residential units. A less than 1 acre portion of the properties remain P1 Park to preserve the entrance to the historic Leasehold Mansion Museum. On April 22nd, 2025, last year, City Council approved change of zoning ZZ 2025-0001 for approximately 283 acres for the property located at 350 Yorktown Road, which is known as Enview, from R9 mixed use with proffers and neo-traditional overlay district to R9 mixed use with proffers and neo-traditional overlay district with new proffers. Section 45-3405 of the zoning ordinance permits proffers to be offered at the time of rezoning. If accepted by City Council, these proffers become binding conditions governing development and use of the property. The Department of Engineering, Environmental Services Division noted that the property is bisected by non-tidal wetlands and a CBPA resource protection area buffer. Any land disturbance of 2,500 square feet or more within the CBPA buffer will require review and approval, as well as a land disturbance permit prior to issuance of a building permit. The Transportation Division has reviewed and accepted the Traffic Impact Analysis, TIA, prepared by Grove Slade Associates, Incorporated. Because specific uses have not yet been determined, the TIA may require updates at the time of site development. The applicant has proffered the improvements and actions identified in the TIA executive summary. Once specific development is proposed, a detailed site plan will be required. All improvements must comply with proper conditions and current site requirements. The property is located within the Leasehold Corridor Overlay District. Development within 500 feet of Yorktown Road is subject to review by the Leasehold Design Review Committee for compliance with district guidelines. The applicant has proffered adherence to this requirement. Other departments had no objections to this request. The proposed Carlton Advanced Manufacturing site encompasses approximately 143 acres, currently owned by the city's Economic Development Authority. The property is located along Yorktown Road and the CSX right-of-way with maximum visibility from Interstate 64. The site is within the Opportunity and Enterprise Economic Development Incentive Zones. It was designated as such because of its easy access to I-64 and its location adjacent to the rail line and proximity to established residential developments and key employment opportunities. Newport News is approximately 92% developed, significantly limiting the availability of sites capable of accommodating major industrial uses. This property was originally acquired to support economic expansion and was identified for industrial development prior to 2006, when a mixed-use development was proposed, but ultimately not realized. This has allowed the city to reposition the property as a potential economic driver for the Lee Hall community and the city as a whole. Although a user for the property has not been determined yet, the proposed zoning will support a stronger economic base by allowing development consistent with the M1 Light Industrial District and be better aligned with current needs, positioning the property to take advantage of new industries seeking to locate within the Commonwealth. The applicant has offered 7 proffers that will govern development. These proffers restrict certain uses to ensure consistency with those not permitted within the Lee Hall Overlay District. Additionally, 2 proffers are included to ensure continued access and to prevent adverse impacts to the historic Lee Hall Mansion. As it refers to transportation, as proffered, the developer shall be responsible for completing the traffic improvement identified in the Carlton Advanced Manufacturing Site Traffic Impact Analysis, including any future amendments based on specific uses, and shall be responsible for the phasing and implementation of such improvements. In conclusion, the proposed rezoning is consistent with the One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan Land Use Map and the Lee Hall Area Plan, and will facilitate the development of a high-quality manufacturing center in an area of the city that has experienced limited growth. The rezoning will support increased employment opportunities in Newport News and a stronger economic base by allowing the development consistent with the M1 Light Industrial District and be better aligned with current needs. The proffers include transportation improvements and ensure that all proposed developments will be consistent with the Lee Hall design guidelines. Hence, it is recommended that the City Planning Commission recommend to City Council approval of change of zoning ZZ 2026-0001 for the approximately 143 acres located at 165 and 185 Yorktown Road from R9 mixed use with proffers and neo-traditional overlay district and P1 Park to M1 Light Industrial and P1 Park with proffers. Are there any questions?
Just again, a point of clarification. So we're moving this from basically residential use back to industrial use, light industrial use.
It's generally, yes, it's mixed use and we're going back to the original M1 light industry.
Okay. And even though you said there's nothing planned for this, the intention still seems like Carlton Advance is going to be part of this project?
Yeah, are you talking about,
The Carlton Advanced Manufacturing is still, even though right now nothing is definite, they'll be one of the first suitors for this property based on what we're looking at.
yes, we're positioning it so that can happen.
Okay.
Okay. I think that would be the best way to summarize it for those that are in the audience and those that are listening or watching that don't know or don't have all this to read in front of them. What we're basically doing is positioning it so that we are able to do or take on or entertain those type of opportunities if they come our way. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
There, any other questions?
Will the property be visible from the mansion, from Lee Hall Mansion? With the
It
proper.
depends on how it's developed, but I'm assuming that yes, things that are built there will be
Yeah.
probably visible from the mansion.
But there will be a buffer.
Yeah.
Yes, it's proper, but there will be a buffer.
My major concern is that the buffer keep Lee Hall looking as agrarian and bucolic as possible while having the industrial zone adjacent to it.
That was the intent with keeping the P1 park area as P1.
And the buffer.
And the buffer.
In the buffer.
Yeah, which is part of the P1.
Yeah.
I do also wonder about the truck ingress egress being so close to Lee Hall Mansion with that kind of vibration and continued movement. Historic materials generally don't take well to that.
So I think that once there is a proposed development, we can look at how traffic works best within the site.
There's just a
And,
site
and
plan, conceptual
considerations
site
will be
plan.
taken
Yeah,
to.
okay.
Anyone else? Question? Saul? If not, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. The first person I have is Derek Perry. As everyone comes up, please state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Derek Perry, 2400 Washington Avenue, Newport News, Virginia. I serve as Assistant Director with the Department of Development. I'm here on behalf of the Newport News Economic Development Authority as the owner and applicant, along with our EDA Board Chair as well. I don't want to repeat the information included in the briefing as well as in the package that y'all received, so I'll just briefly hit on this from an economic development perspective. Newport News is largely built out, and opportunities like this, particularly large contiguous sites, are incredibly limited. Since the property was acquired in 1995, the intent has always been to leverage this property to support long-term economic growth. As Saul shared, a specific user has not yet been identified for this site, and this rezoning is an important step in preparing the site for future economic use, creating jobs, capital investment, and revenue growth for the city. We're continuing to see strong interest from the advanced manufacturing sector in this property, and having sites that are ready and appropriately zoned is critical to staying competitive. Just as an aside on that, we have lost prospects because of the zoning on the property, and the time to get it to be ready for development is a major barrier for those prospect development and economic development interest in the site. This property was also highlighted this past October at our Edge Summit as a key opportunity area, and again, this action and change of zoning for the property will help to position the site for future prospect interest and advancing its site readiness. So appreciate your consideration. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Questions? If not, next is Kathy Williams.
Good afternoon, Planning Commission. My name is Kathy Williams. I reside at 1621 Roanoke Avenue here in Newport News. I am here this afternoon as the Board Chair the City of Newport News Economic Development Authority, Industrial Development Authority. I'm in strong support of the EDA staff rezoning recommendation for the Carlton Advanced Manufacturing Site. The EDA-IDA staff analysis shows that this rezoning is fully consistent with the One City, One Future 2040 comprehensive plan, and the Lee Hall area plan. By transitioning this site to M1 light industrial, EDA can move forward under our economic development growth expansion, otherwise known as ADD strategy, facilitating the development of a high-quality manufacturing center in an area of Newport News that has historically seen limited development opportunities and growth. Beyond land use alignment, the site offers significant community benefits. First, economic impact will create a transformational business opportunity to diversify our industry and economic base in the city by attracting innovative companies with high wages and increased employment career opportunities within the city to retain and attract new talent. Infrastructure. The surrounding infrastructure in close proximity to Fort Eustis, Oakland Industrial Park, and Yorktown Naval Station, Weapons Station, makes the 145-acre Carlton site an attractive location for advanced manufacturing. Design quality, we, as you've heard, saw all proposed development will remain consistent with the Lee Hall design. Based on these factors, I am recommending that the City Planning Commission recommend to City Council approval of change of zoning CZ-2026-001 from the approximate 140 acres located at 165 and 185 Yorktown Roads from R9 mixed use with proffers to M1 light industrial. Thank you.
Next, Kevin Martin.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Martin. Reside at 203 Whitestone Court in the Carlton Falls subdivision, which is right across the railroad tracks from this planned development. I just have a few questions that's on the appendix, specifically Appendix 4. Page 3, number 6. It talks about what's prohibited on the property. And my question is, on that list, what else is prohibited? One of the things I'm wondering about is the allowable height of the actual building itself. You talked about buffers and trees, buffering between that and Lee Hall Mansion and the rest of the community. How tall will this building be proposed? Next question I have is...
Just one as a point of clarification. If I'm hearing them correctly, the owners, the EDA, that's putting this out there, as of right now, they're not saying anybody is destined for it, but I do understand your question, because it does look like it looks like one specific place is going to create a manufacturing plant.
Yeah, I did, excuse me. I did see the layout, the proposal. It didn't indicate any height, it just square footage outwards. So I didn't know if it was just going to be a one-story building or whatever. May I continue?
So is there a limit on, in an M1 industrial, how high the building can go?
Nayoka Hall, our zoning administrator.
Good afternoon. So in the M1 zoning district, you are allowed a maximum height of 40 feet. But for every foot that you retreat from the property line, you can go up an existing foot for every foot that you go in from the setback.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Nayoka, with that being said, if I start at 40 feet and I move back, I'm just going to throw crazy math. If I move back 100 feet, then I'm allowed how many more feet?
You're allowed 1 additional foot for every foot that you retreat.
That's what I
from the
thought you said.
setback. Correct. But you do have to take into consideration there are limitations relative to our fire department and structure height and what they can actually access. And it may be a potential to amend proffers relative to height, just a thought.
And since we don't have a suitor at this time, that would be something that will be taken up during the site plan review? Okay. So we can make note of those concerns that Mr. Martin had brought up already.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, mentioned the EPA and the wetlands and the impact on that, which would most likely be sorted out at a later date, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Truck traffic in the area, as you know, along Warwick is increased. Yorktown's 25 miles an hour, right in that area. Do have an exit coming off of 64, right at that site. And from the other end of, I guess, 143, which is Jefferson. So that will increase as well. We all know about the railroad tracks in that area. Access to that, as mentioned before, would have access to the railroad track at that point. I guess my concern is what is actually going to be manufactured, how is going to impact the EPA, the disruption to the traffic. Of course, I mentioned the height of the building. I'm assuming that we're not doing any data centers similar to Northern Virginia, so that's out. And even though it wasn't mentioned in prohibited area, or detention centers, that wasn't mentioned in the prohibited area, or any type of weaponry or armament, that wasn't listed and not permitted. So that's why I wanted to know exactly what was going to be manufactured. I know you don't know at this point, but it would be for the people who are across the tracks that would know that.
Does M1 prohibit data center usage?
Right now, data centers are not part of our zoning ordinance, so they're not allowed.
Okay.
Okay, that answers that. Thank you.
But that doesn't mean that will always be the case. But it is noted that that's your concern.
Okay. Along with detention centers?
Yes.
Okay. And the only suggestion I have as far as the manufacturing, you mentioned STEM, robotics, that sort of small manufacturing, even drones, considering our climate today. But that would be a recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Great question.
Next is Carol Totten.
Hi, Carol Totten, 619 34th Street. I came today because I have some concerns. I live right next door to the building. Been there for 20 years.
Wait.
I think you're for the second one.
Ms. Carter, I think we got you on the wrong case.
Yeah, I think you put down the wrong
Yeah, I
number.
think you're for the next case.
Don't go nowhere though, Ms. Carter.
Yeah, we'll call you for the next case. Timothy Burden.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Timothy Burden from 8 Creekstone Drive, also a resident of Carlton Falls, along with the folks across from us in Chelsea Apartments and the houses along Warwick there. I recommend y'all disapprove the rezoning of any kind of industrial event on that. You saw the pictures of that pristine property right there that used to be a farm. You're going to nestle it right between Newport News Park, the Newport News Park, Endview, and the Lee Hall vicinity. It'd be nestled in this beautiful historic area. Any industry in there will add noise pollution, some kind of environmental pollution, and in the event, some kind of heat environmental stuff. That's about all I got to say about that. But I highly recommend you don't change it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Next, Steve Harrison.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Harrison, 3 Commercial Place, Norfolk, Virginia, and I am the Chief Operating Officer at the Hampton Roads Alliance. We're a very close partner of the City of Newport News and your Department of Development, and I'm here today to support the proposed rezoning of the Carlton site from residential to that M1 light industrial use. This is not just a land use decision. This is a strategic economic investment that is going to shape Newport News' future competitiveness for high-quality jobs and new tax revenue. This Carlton site is very uniquely positioned in Hampton Roads. At 143 acres, the site has interstate visibility, it has CSX rail access, and it has the capacity to support over 800,000 square feet of production space. That is exactly the kind of large-scale, build-ready site that modern industry is demanding. And so quite simply, opportunities like this are very rare, and so once they're lost, it's difficult to replace it. The Alliance recently launched what we call the Hampton Roads Playbook, which is a regional economic development strategy that clearly identifies the shortage of business-ready industrial sites as one of the biggest barriers to economic growth for Hampton Roads. In fact, at the state level, the #1 reason that Virginia is losing economic development projects is because we have a lack of business-ready sites. Companies are making these decisions faster than ever on where to locate, and so if a region doesn't have a site that is ready to go, well located, appropriately zoned, those investments go elsewhere. They're going to North Carolina, to South Carolina, to Georgia. They're skipping Virginia altogether, and so rezoning this site is a necessary step to ensure that Newport News and Hampton Roads can stay in the game. The stakes are high. A site like Carlton has the potential to catalyze real economic transformation. It can bring high-quality jobs, capital investment, and supply chain opportunities that benefit this entire region. It creates pathways for workforce development, it supports small and mid-sized businesses, and it strengthens our tax base. Newport News plays a central role in the regional economy. From Newport News Shipbuilding to Jefferson Lab, this city is home to world-class assets that are driving innovation and advanced industry. And the Carlton site can build on that momentum. It can give companies the opportunity to invest where the action is, to plug into this existing ecosystem of talent, research, and infrastructure. This rezoning aligns with both local and regional priorities and positions Newport News to compete and to win in these projects that are defining the next generation of economic growth. So I would respectfully urge you all to support this rezoning and to help unlock the full potential of this site. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alonzo Bell.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name's Alonzo Bell Jr., 141 Denby Boulevard. And as a lifelong resident of the Newport News and a 50-year resident of the Northern District, I'm here to support that. Also a commercial real estate practitioner and a former member of the Industrial Development Authority. A number of folks have spoken as to what this gives us the potential to do. I want to say, as a member of the Industrial Development Authority formerly, I've seen us lose out on opportunities. So we do have potential to capitalize in the future. We have lost out in the past, however, because of not having ready sites available. So, as we want to certainly enhance our tax base, creates the potential to lighten the load on others in other sectors of our city, create high-quality jobs, and as that is indeed our goal, I'm just here to speak out in favor of the rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's the last cards I have. We do have a letter from the Virginia Peninsula Chamber that I'd like to have included Oh, we have additional cards, sorry. Thomas Waltz.
Hello, Planning Commission,
Hello, sir.
and Happy Easter.
You too.
I would just say, my name's Tom Waltz, and my business is at 11832 Fishing Point Drive in Newport News. And I've had the pleasure of doing business in Newport News for several decades. I, too, am a commercial real estate broker, and I don't have anything too fancy or well-prepared, other than I would echo everything that the gentleman from the Alliance had to say, as well as Mr. Bell. This is a very unique site, and it has tremendous potential for economic growth and development. And it's just it's a rarity in this marketplace. Again, I didn't have anything written down.
Okay.
But I think it certainly deserves serious consideration for approval. And the one thing I would say is, in an attempt not to lose any, more deals or whatever, for whatever reasons, that please make sure that when if a project gets to first base, don't let it get shot down because there were some onerous restrictions placed on the building or the site. I can assure those that oppose the development of this parcel, the city is very, very good at focusing on site plans that work and make sense for the city. So I thank you all very much, and if you have any questions, nice to see you, Mr. Black, a long time.
All right.
Any questions?
No, Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask someone from the EDA to come back up for a moment? Or is that out of order?
No, go ahead. Before I close the public hearing.
Who wants to take my question?
Just ask the
So,
question.
as I understand it, Lee Hall's the only area in Newport News with the battlefield that's at all preserved. So, we've got an issue here besides just preserving the character. There's the question of preserving the landscape, ideally as it existed at the time of the battlefield, because that tends to be a big tourism draw for battlefields. Was there any, will either the potential development itself or the proffers affect the historical, the modern similarity with the historical topography of the battle?
So as part of the prep for this application, we did complete a cultural resources assessment that gets to some of what you're talking about, and that was submitted with our application to the planning department. There will obviously need to be some grading depending on when we find an end user and you do all the planning work through that. I'll just say, I think especially the view shed of the mansion, and as you come, I guess, south on Yorktown Road, part of the rationale and thought behind the berm was both the screening for Lee Hall Mansion from the new development, but also trying to preserve that view shed as folks drive toward the mansion and be able to maintain that element. I think we're sensitive to this project. The plan development, which I'll add to, was trying to fit as much possible on a concept plan, knowing that when we get a user, we'll need to understand better what that specific business will need. But I mean, with our work on the Parkside at Enview project, we're very much attuned to the pastoral nature, the history of the area, and making sure that the development that comes to this property is sensitive to that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. As I was saying earlier, the Virginia Peninsula Chamber has also sent the Newport News Planning Commission a letter that was distributed to all members of the commission. I would like to have that included in the minutes. And I am closing the public hearing. Yes. The Virginia Peninsula Chamber was supportive of the change in zoning. I'm closing the public hearing and opening discussion among the Planning Commission.
I'd like to make one or reiterate something that with not knowing and where we are, we're basically just preparing for whatever may come. But the real development discussions will take place at the site plan review and when we have a document before us. And I will encourage all our citizens that have concerns about what will go there and could go there to be available to discuss that when we have someone that's proposing to go there.
I would concur with that, and I do realize and appreciate that the EDA is taking into consideration the fact that they are going to be building very closely to one of our last historic places in Newport News. That does draw tourism. That is important significantly. So I hope that is taken into consideration when you meet with whoever ends up purchasing and building on.
Chairperson Shook, before we have any more discussion on this matter, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the recommendation for approval of the conditional rezoning CZ-2026-0001.
Second. Okay. Any further discussion?
I do want to say, I'm always torn about stuff like this, because I also believe that we as a city needs more residential, and we're literally giving away 140 acres of what we have currently zoned as residential property back over to industrial. But with that being said, I've heard the arguments about the need to be nimble as a city to get prospective business in here and new opportunities with new jobs. We need some new housing to make sure they come to Newport News and stay in Newport News and don't live up in Williamsburg. But that's something else that we have to address.
Or York County.
Or York County. But those are matters that we still need, hopefully we need to address as a city. But with that being said, I'm for moving forward with this.
I agree. It also gives us an opportunity to further diversify our industry here, so that if an industry transitions, we have something else that we can go to keep the engine of the city going.
This is also in conformance with the comp plan, and it is stated in there that it should be M1, so it is following procedure.
I would like to
concur with everything that's been said by my fellow commissioners. Keeping one thing in mind, the city has to be run like a business. And things change, so we need to keep our eye on all of this, because we are looking for income just as everybody and everything else is.
I would like to add that should this rezoning be approved, I urge those in the city and prospective interested applicants to remember this is the last battlefield site in Newport News that is anywhere close to what it looked like at the time of the Civil War. And it's more than preserving bucolic character, more than just keeping industry from obviously being on it. If there are large areas that during the skirmish site were forested that are no longer left in that condition after development, that really impacts the battlefield, even if it continues to look rural. If there are areas, which I know there were, in fact, that were flat land during the skirmish site, and those, because of a proffer or whatever other reason, are reforested, that impacts the battlefield site. And I had the chance to see a lot of great battlefields in Europe, and one of the defining features of the tourism draws of those battlefields was whether you could stand on those sites and see what the combatants would have seen however many centuries ago. So it is about more than just bucolic character. It's about preserving the area that was a battlefield site for future generations to learn the history.
Commissioner Bowditch, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, Commissioner. I was just going to comment that I know there was a number of concerns from neighbors and from concerned citizens about the size and the overall position of the conceptual building references Advanced Manufacturing Building 1 on this concept plan. But I can assure you that have gone through the process many times that the site plan review process and the planning and building department are going to be very, very comprehensive in their process to allow something of this nature to go on the site. So today is a stepping stone, but only a zoning stepping stone, and that that the city will certainly be involved and be and govern appropriately when it comes to the improvement on the site. So I hope that helps your concerns. My second comment is we do have this conceptual two-page document from TRC Engineering. It's just a conceptual. Is it appropriate to be part of the zoning package, or should it be removed just because we're focusing on a zoning versus an actual building project?
I think it should remain as one of an example of what could be done with the property, not saying that this is what is going to be done with the property.
Yeah, it could have been identified as an example more so than for a proposed site.
Any further?
I did have one question for my Commissioner Williams. Is your statement, your motion was for a conditional change, maybe conditional zoning? I think you meant a change of zoning.
Is there a change of zone?
Yes, sir.
So noted and
Correct.
corrected.
Any further discussion? Take roll.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Lambert,
4.
Commissioner Michelle,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Taylor,
4.
Commissioner Dias,
4.
Commissioner Archer,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Shook.
4.
Motion unanimous, 9-0.
That will be heard by City Council on April 28th, 2026. Next, we have conditional use permit CU 2026, TAC 0001, World Class Solutions Incorporated, being presented by Saul Gleiser.
Hello again. So now we have application CU 2026-0001 for World Class Solution Incorporated, who is the owner and applicant of this parcel, and is requesting a conditional use permit for the operation of a food preparation and storage and distribution facility. The property is located at 615 34th Street, and it contains 0.11 acres. North, we have a vacant parcel and a duplex on property zone R4 single-family dwelling. East of the property is a single-family home on property zone R4 single-family dwelling. South is Hornsby Tire and Service Center on property zone C2 General Commercial. And finally, west is a vacant property on property zone C2 General Commercial. The One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan land use map identifies mixed use for the parcel. The proposed operation is in general conformance with the goals and strategies of the comprehensive plan. The property has been zoned C2 General Commercial since the city-wide comprehensive rezoning became effective on August 1st, 1997. Food preparation, storage, and distribution facilities are permitted in the C2 General Commercial District with the approval of a conditional use permit. The fire department noted that the commercial kitchen would be subject to all applicable provisions of the Virginia State Fire Prevention Code and needs to pass fire inspection prior to occupancy. The building plans examiner noted that a building permit will be required as they must comply with all code requirements for the proposed use. Other departments had no objections to this request. The structure, built in 1960, was used as a contractor's office until 2018 and has remained vacant since that time. The proposed operation would modify the interior of the building to accommodate an industrial kitchen with ample storage space, including walk-in freezers and refrigerators. This use responds to a community-identified need and was recommended in the Marshall Ridley Choice Neighborhood Transformation Plan. It will allow entrepreneurs and small businesses to access a commercial kitchen without significant upfront investment, and currently there are no industrial kitchens available for rent within the city. The proposed facilities target market includes food trucks and caterers. The proposal is to establish a health department licensed commercial kitchen that offers rentable food production space along with support services for food entrepreneurs. Users would rent the kitchen by the hour through a monthly membership. No more than 3 members may use the kitchen at a given time. The business plan proposes a 24-hour operation 7 days a week. However, the property is located at the entrance to a neighborhood and directly adjacent to a 2-story single-family dwelling, separated only by a fence. While a community kitchen could locate on the property, a 24-hour operation would not be appropriate due to noise generated by vehicles loading and unloading and customer activity during early morning hours. Therefore, it is recommended that operation hours be limited to 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. to minimize potential impacts on neighboring residential properties. The plans also include the installation of a new landscaping, including trees along the front of the property on both sides. In conclusion, the proposed use as a food preparation, storage, and distribution facility is consistent with the One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan. The facility would provide a service that is currently not available in the area or the city. However, a 24-hour operation has the potential to create nuisance for adjacent residential properties. As conditioned, the proposed use is compatible with and not injurious to the surrounding properties. Hence, it is recommended that Planning Commission recommends to City Council approval of conditional use permit CU 2026-0001 for the operation of a food preparation, storage, and distribution facility at 615 34th Street with 16 conditions that include the total occupancy of the food preparation, storage, and distribution facility shall be limited to a maximum of 3 members and 2 helpers at a given time. Hours of operation shall be limited to 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. No outdoor activity shall be permitted outside of those times. A landscape plan shall be submitted to and approved by the Director of Planning. Plans specifically showing compliance with all code requirements shall be submitted to the plans examiner for the issuance of a building permit. No more than 2 food trucks shall be parked on premises at a given time. All other standard conditions also apply. All 16 conditions are detailed in the staff report and will be part of the ordinance if approved by council. Are there any questions?
I have one, or I guess more so a point of clarification, a note, which it's likely an impact from the date in which the business plan was generated and when the summary was put together, but the business plan identifies that the hours of operation will be 24/7. Obviously, it's clearly noted within the staff summary that that won't be the case, but just wanted to, I guess, identify that. But obviously, clarifying that we are committing or getting the applicant to commit to the 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily time frame, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Got a question?
Their proposal is for 24 hours. We're conditioning the schedule.
Got it.
Yeah, so I have a quick question in regards to the occupancies and the maximum number of people on site. And where do you, I guess the applicant asked this question, but as far as the parking, I know we talked about 2 food trucks being in, pretty much parked in the bay. Where do we anticipate these people park, the people that are working the facility to park without parking in the neighborhood?
As you might recall, there is no parking requirement.
Correct.
So what we're limiting is the parking of the food trucks because that can have an impact on the surrounding properties.
Okay, because you understanding that across the street from this facility, there is a, let's say, tire place. Next to that, then you're parking. Now you're potentially interfering with the person that lives next to them because now you're gonna have to park in front of their house. So it's just something else that need to be considered for this facility. But okay.
Brad?
Hey, Saul, thank you. When you talk about 2 food trucks being permitted to be on site, is that just for them to load the food that's been prepared to sell elsewhere? Or will the
Correct.
food trucks be allowed to sell food to consumers at the site?
No, it is for them to load and unload whatever.
You
they
gotta load
need.
and go.
So consumers will not be allowed to go to the site to purchase food?
No.
Correct.
Internal to the facility, you mentioned both walk-in refrigerators and freezers. Those will require outdoor compressors. Do they plan to put that on the roof or
I
on
think so.
ground level?
There is no room to put them out there.
Correct. There's no, unless they put them in the trees behind them.
Yeah. So
Just making sure if they put it on ground level,
Where?
more screening being required.
Is there an occupancy limit?
they are limiting the occupancy to 3 members and 2 helpers.
It's the first item under the buffer condition.
Mr. Williams?
No,
My
and
mistake,
that's-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that was my comment is, 3 members can be 3 food trucks. So they would have to organize that, in fact, because if only 2 can be on the premises at the same time, but you can have 3 members in the space at one time. So it's gonna be up to them to coordinate that?
Correct.
So it has to be at least 1 member without a food truck of the 3 that's on the premises at a given time.
But you can have 2 food trucks and caterer preparing for an event. So It's very fluid. But they have a rental agreement that is very specific as to how many people can be using the premises. And
So I very much appreciate the presentation. It appears there's some concern over the 24 hours versus the suggested limited hours of 5 to 10. Could you speak to the applicant's interest to have those expanded hours? Or because it's referenced in the analysis, 24 hours, and then referenced as the focus being 5 to 10, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Can you speak to that difference?
so the applicant is here. She can tell you why she wants the 24-hour operation. We don't think that it is a good idea to have a 24-hour operation when you're so close to residential.
Did the applicant agree to the new hours?
No.
The applicant
The applicant is here, but
Okay.
no, the applicant did not agree to the hours.
Okay.
I'm, just to clarify, the 2 helpers, is that 2 helpers per 1 member, or is that 2
Correct.
helper? Okay,
It's a member and 2 helpers.
okay.
Any further questions?
Oh, just for clarification. Item 1, on the conditions. Last part of that, facility shall be limited to a maximum of 3 members and 2 helpers at a given time. So you just said a member and 2 helpers.
Correct.
So if I got 3 members,
You
2
have
helpers
6
apiece.
9 people.
Now, that's what I was getting at. So we now have potential 9 people there.
Correct.
Okay.
I think
And
the
parking.
applicant is going to have to clarify that, because
Yeah.
that was not the interpretation that.
It wasn't
That's-
mine neither when I
was
first
not
read it
the
either, so,
interpretation that I read.
okay.
I'm sure she'll clarify.
Yes.
Okay. I'm opening the public hearing. First, could I have the applicant? My card doesn't say which one is the applicant. All right.
Sure.
If the applicant could step forward and state your name and address.
Hello, everyone.
Hello?
Good.
Good afternoon.
My name is Sharon Owens Clark, and I am the applicant for World Class Solutions for the Commissary Kitchen. This is my first time, so bear with me. So do I go over the information I have first, or do I see if you have questions? I apologize.
You should go over the information you have.
Okay.
Yeah, if you think
all
that
right.
would answer our questions. yeah.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay, well, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Sharon with World Class Solutions, and thank you for the opportunity. First, I want to acknowledge and respect the concerns that has been raised by the committee as well as some of the neighbors. My goal is not to disrupt the neighbors, but to add value, opportunity, and structure to a responsible and professional way for the building that we're trying to do for the commissary kitchen. As Saul has said, the kitchen will be for primary food trucks, caterers, chefs, bakers, mobile vendors, a ghost kitchen, and a pop-up shelf. This community kitchen is a traditional restaurant. It is no dine-in traffic, so no one will be there, no large crowds, no consistent public flow. Instead, I want to make sure that it's controlled, it's scheduled workspace for small food entrepreneurs that are licensed for a safe environment for them to operate their business. From a community standpoint, this project is revitalized for an existing property to improve the appearance and the use. It also ensures that food businesses is operating by a regulated, health-compliant environment rather than an unmonitored business. Economically, the space creates the opportunity and supports small businesses in many ways for local residents and give them a place to grow. Also could to contribute to the local economy as well as taxes for the city. I'm committed to being a good neighbor. There will be clear rules in place regarding noise control, cleanliness, professionalism. The kitchen will be scheduled on a schedule, so if anyone wants to utilize the kitchen, they have to go to a website and they have to sign up for the usage when they want to use the kitchen. We are also wanting to make sure that the noise is addressed. We have put some things in place as far as like the garage doors to make them soft closing. Also fencing to take the fence up higher. Also trees, we was told to put trees on both sides as well to try to eliminate the noise as well. One thing, and I know that you mentioned as far as, as far as making sure as how many people are in the building. The way that it goes as far as the planning, you have a fryer for the foods that people are cooking for the fryer. Then you just have food prep that they're not using any fryer, and then you have the stove. So when they go online and sign up for that area, so whoever's using the fryer to cook and fry their foods, that's all they're gonna be doing. If you have someone maybe that's doing salads and fresh wraps and things of that sort, all they're gonna need is table space, so they won't be utilizing the fryer. And then if you have people that's doing the oven, they will be utilizing the oven. So it will be monitored. There's 24/7 security that we will have, and then we have cameras on the inside and the outside. One thing that I really wanted to make sure that I did is I wanted to bring a different look as far as previously there was a motorcycle club there. And I wanted to make sure that I turned that completely around. I see y'all laughing because I think y'all remember the motorcycle club that was there, and make sure it was something positive. So this way, I have the opportunity to manage it. I have the opportunity to make sure that things are going well, and I have rules and I have guidelines. So if anyone does not adhere to the rules and the guidelines that I have in place, please believe I will make sure that they are removed from the premises. So again, I'm a neighbor. Grew up downtown. I noticed it's something that's really needed. I have a lot of people, I do have a large presence on social media, and people are calling me, hey, when are you gonna get the commissary kitchen up? Is it up? Is it ready? We don't have one on this side of the water. The closest thing that we have is in Norfolk. And I have been talking to different people, and I know it's something that's really needed, and I'm just trying to be one that can provide that for the city as well as my colleagues.
For completeness of the record, could you state your address as well?
Oh, I'm sorry. My home address is 112 Cranefield Place, Newport News, Virginia. I apologize.
Thank you.
And real quickly, so there's in our packet.
Yes, sir.
It looks like there was a drawing, a layout, a floor plan.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking to the staff. Is there any way we can show that up here so we can see?
I have one with me. Would you like to?
No, we
I
have
a big one.
We would have to pass it around, but, okay.
That needs to be reviewed and approved by the building.
Okay, it's just their proposed layout of this kitchen. So right now, no demo, there's been no demolition internally to the building, so the building still looks.
It's a concept.
Okay, it's just a club, still a clubhouse. Okay.
No. That's not a clubhouse anymore.
The floor plan has been altered.
It's a concept.
It's a concept.
Okay.
It hasn't been altered. And not be used until they get the permission.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you speak in regards to members versus helpers?
So the members will be,
And my question is in regards to the number. There was 3 members and 2 helpers.
that is correct.
Is that 5 people?
No,
Or is
so
that
one,
9
so
people?
if I am a entrepreneur and I'm a business and I'm going in, so if I'm coming in and I'm an owner, I can bring 2 of my helpers with me to help food prep. That's the minimum. Everybody may not need 2, they may not need 1, but that's to get in, get my food together, get it prepped, get it packaged, and get it out of the building.
Okay. So there's
Yes, sir.
potentially, worst case is 9 people in the building at once.
Worst case, yes, sir.
Okay.
So when you said that's the minimum, did you mean that's the maximum?
I'm at the max, I'm sorry, sir.
And then could you also speak to the hours of operation? Your application was for 24 hours of operation, so this proposal limits it from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Do those restrictions still allow your business model to work?
So actually, it'd be a challenge, because a lot of the food trucks that they'll be utilizing that have also contacted me, and I've also spoke with the director at the shipyard, the food trucks have to be at the shipyard between 5 and 6 a.m. So that would not give them the opportunity to come in to prep their food, to utilize the kitchen to get to the shipyard in time. So starting at 5 and they need to be to the shipyard at 5, that would not work. What I don't want to do is to go out, and I've already invested, I would say a good $100,000 of my own money, is to go out and continue to get a loan to furnish the building, to get all the equipment, because it is commercial equipment. And then the hours are tailored that no one can really utilize the kitchen for their needs, because at that point, I'm going to be having to make sure that I continue to pay this loan. So I'm definitely going to need the customers to come in and make sure that they have that time to utilize the kitchen. So that's why I'm asking for the 24/7, so they're able to utilize it, get their food cooked, get it prepped, and get it on the trucks and get over to the shipyard.
With that said, a lot of different zoning or adjusted land use applications come before us. Specifically, restaurants or food-based businesses have hours of operations referenced and that are limited by the team based on their pre-work and then their discussions with the applicant. So if it wasn't 5 to 10, but it wasn't 24, I understand your position, and I'm quite familiar with it personally as to the food trucks on campus down the street. 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, like, is there somewhere to meet in the middle that would be your request, or?
Well, I just want to make sure, because I actually went to Richmond to one of the food courts, and I met one of the businesses up in Richmond, and I met with Sam, and I actually talked to him because I've been working on this for a while, so I've been doing my due diligence. And I was asking him about that. And when I was up there and talking to him, a lot of the people sometimes come in at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I mean, just they're doing the bakery, they're making the dough, then they need time for the food, their food to rise. They're coming in, bringing in food, because the refrigerator, the freezers. So I just didn't want to cap it to be to a point that somebody really need to utilize the kitchen. And I'm not saying somebody's going to be there 24/7. You're always going to have 9 people there. But just to have that flexibility, because you just never know what business someone has and what needs to be done. I felt that it'd be safer to utilize a kitchen where I have control over the business versus there's no control of whatever type of business going there.
I think the concern is, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's the actual physical location of where you are and what that potentially could do to the neighborhood. Like your neighbor just right next to you. I mean, she's less than a 6-foot fence. It's not even 6 foot, 4-foot fence between you and her, or you and that house. I don't know if it's a her. No. I do know it's a her because she stood up a few minutes ago.
Mrs. Carroll, yeah.
Yeah, but that is the concern, and that's our concern for the neighborhood, is the traffic and the level of traffic and level of noise, because there's a time in the mornings where there's a very calm, and if you're basically taking that away, where I can't sit on my porch and just enjoy that morning before I go to the shipyard, then that is the concern. So that's why my fellow commissioner was considering, if not 24 hours, then where is the happy medium? Is it 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning? I mean, there's got to be some kind of give and take.
Okay.
Because if it's all or nothing, then I'm just curious to see how that would go for you.
Okay. So I was.
You can think about it later, but
Okay, yeah.
have that in your mind, because
Yeah. Okay.
all or nothing is not a good position to take.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was also just wondering if there is something to be said of like exterior activity versus interior, because if they're making bread at 2 a.m., because I understand I have a baker at home, that takes time, but there's not going to be any noise. So I don't know if that just gets too tricky as far as zoning or ordinating that, but.
And that was the other thing. That's why I said no one's going to be outside. All the work is going to be done inside the building. So as far as someone coming to the building, the only time that you may hear them is just when they pull up, take their items out of their vehicle and go in the building. Then everything is going to be done in the buildings, because as you heard Saul say, there's no activity that can be done on the outside. So the outside is only going to be loading for unloading, but all the work is going to be done on the inside of the building.
I think the loading part is the biggest concern of like noise and people talking, and any kind of noise during that early morning it will be disruptive to the neighbors.
I do understand.
And that also includes the suppliers as well, like a Cisco truck or something coming in.
That's true.
Well, I have talked to Cisco, and Cisco is willing to work with me. They will make sure that they deliver during the business hours. Cisco, I told them what I was, trying to do and what we was working on. And I spoke with the director, and he is more than happy to be a part of that, because as well as I have it as a VIP status, so you have to meet certain qualifications to be even a member of Cisco, to even buy from Cisco. So everyone that's coming there, they do have that flexibility that I'm extending that to them. So everyone that's going to be at the commissary kitchen will totally have access to Cisco. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Sorry.
First of all, just for me, as someone who lives in the southern area, I think it's an exciting opportunity, and just now knowing the lack of this type of service is something that's commendable to you.
Thank
I
you.
do have a few questions.
Yes, sir.
As someone who also owns a retail establishment, number one, if you are open 24/7, when is the time period allowed for cleaning? Because one of the biggest concerns, I'm sure you know, with food and food prep is cross-contamination. So would there even if there was a small period of time, say 11 to 2, where there was just cleaning of the facility, is that something you have taken into
Yeah, so
consideration?
we will let all the members know during certain days and times that we have to bring someone in for cleaning. So at that time, they will have to adjust their schedules. But yes, it's mandatory to have that building clean, as well as the units and all the commercial equipment.
And will you have someone on the premises to do back-end cleaning as members leave, or is that solely the members' responsibility
members will
to
have to make sure
thoroughly
they
clean
clean.
everything?
Yes, and that will be checked and inspected. So whatever equipment that they use, they're responsible for cleaning it when they leave.
Okay.
But I do have someone that will be checking in, as well as myself. I'll be going by as well and checking to make sure that things are done properly.
Yeah, because my main concern would be cross-contamination. Then the only other thing that I really have when you talk about open during the night hours, I live on one of those blocks down the street. You hear somebody chatting or talking, and I hear what you're saying, that nobody's supposed to be outside talking, but everybody go, whether they go to do a vape or cigarette or just two people with food trucks talking shop. When you're in your house and you hear people chattering at 3 in the morning, your antenna goes up.
I agree.
And so what processes are you putting in as part of the membership package to assure that the people that live close by, especially the ones close by to you, but really it's that whole block, that whole 600 block, they get an assurance that they don't get those type of wake-ups in the middle of the night of hearing people talking, chatting, things like that.
I get it.
Because that startles you.
Right. So it's a few things to that. One, I actually lived downtown on 25th Street for 16 years, so I get it. So 25th Street is the main street because it's Martin Luther King. So I do understand people walking down the street and people talking because I've heard it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just something out of my control as far as people walking down the street. It's just something you just can't control that. But what I can control is the people that are members of the establishment to say, here are your rules and here are your guidelines. Again, there's cameras 24/7. So if there's any problems or any issues or somebody is violating the rules or the guidelines, then they're going to be removed. Also, there's a store on the corner of my establishment. There's a gas station. Every type of person you can think of hangs out there. I mean, which is no control, which is trash. I mean, you hear the noise, they're playing the radios, they're cussing, they're drinking. Again, you have no control over that. But on the flip side of that I think that's a plus, because everybody been calling me to rent the building. If I was to rent the building and there's any type of other business that go in there, then there's no control. It could be a party, another motorcycle club. I could rent it and then there's no control, whereas I have control now because it's my building, and I want to make sure that we don't have the type of establishments that was there previously, whereas I can put something that can help the community. I have even had their food bank to reach out to me that they're needing that facility too, and they're willing to help because they want to utilize it. So I think it's something that can really be utilized and can really help the community. And again, I'm from downtown Newport News, so I get it. And I also, do not take lightly of what Ms. Carroll said, because I know Ms. Carroll. I even went and talked to her myself, and I said, okay, well, let me see what I can do to implement some things to make sure it's more quieter. But people are going to walk down the street all times of the night, too, because of the type of gas station. I don't know if y'all know that gas station or not on that corner. There's a whole different type of customers that I would say that goes to that gas station. So, and we don't have no control over the customers. And I see people, because I drive by, I work late and I drive by, we have all different type of individuals walking down the street all times of the night and all times of the morning. So some things is just not controlled, but the things that I can control, I promise you, I'm going to put guidelines and rules and regulations in it to make sure that it's controlled.
Thank you. I appreciate all your answers. The one thing I would comment on for you is it would give me an assurance as someone who also sells food, prepares and sells food. It would be nice if I knew that the space that I was working in had a period of no activity for thorough cleaning and sanitation.
Oh, absolutely.
Like 10 to 2.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lambert?
I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your name again?
Sharon Clark.
Thank you, Mrs.
You're welcome.
Clark. I see in your cleaning procedures, deep cleaning daily, done by your staff. I appreciate that. What hours are you anticipating having your staff in this building?
So I'm going to be there too. So we're just starting out. So it's me trying to figure out when it needs to be the most times, when someone book the venue as far as the commissary kitchen. So it's going to be a learning curve, seeing what hours that the most people are needing the space. So it just depends on what's being booked at that time from the website. So I don't have a concrete answer yet until I can figure out when is the need, when I can get a flow chart to see when are the hours that somebody's going to be there, and then govern myself accordingly to that.
Okay. And also for either you, Mrs. Clark, or for the department, before we think too much about the external possible noise, are there any concerns about noise from the interior of the building? Is there much probability that activity inside the building is likely to have an impact on the neighbors?
It shouldn't.
Okay, thank you. And is the applicant bound to have the cleaning be daily by submitting this, or is that just informational for us?
That's the applicant's business plan.
Yeah, it's just information.
information.
Do we know the hours of the service station on the corner? Is that a 24/7 operation? Do we know?
No,
it's not 24.
No, they
not
close.
24 hours.
They close like around 10 or
Okay.
11.
Yeah, I think it's 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Hornsby opens at 7
Okay,
and closes at 6.
Right.
okay. No, that's helpful.
Got a question on this one?
Yep, not to belabor the point, but I think Ms. Clark may benefit from this as well as the commission because we have new commissioners here. One point of observation, we have based on the authority given to us, we're making essentially 3 calls here, right? And it's either approval based on the conditions provided, and this goes back to the hours of operation. Prior to this meeting, I wasn't privy to the fact that you disagreed with the recommended hours. But again, we're voting either in approval in favor of the conditions based on those hours, rejection of the conditions based on those hours, or we have an option to defer or delay. I just want to make sure that either Ms. Clark understands and myself and anyone else that's new here understands. If we vote in approval based on these conditions, which stands as the hours specified, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., I guess where would that put Ms. Clark in a circumstance if she is interested in either appealing or changing that? Because that'll be essentially the vote on record from the commission and provided
That
to
would
city
be,
council.
that would be the planning commission's recommendation, but she still has to go before city council, and
Right.
it could change at that point. But the planning staff is saying, just for the peace of the neighborhood, to not add those early morning hours, because during that time of the morning, when you're sleeping, even if someone is talking, but more so in this particular case, is the food trucks. Food trucks are loud. They're loud when they start up. They're loud when they come. So you're going to have that in the very early morning hours. So that was our contention as far as making sure that those hours were not at a time where we know people are probably sleeping.
Okay, thank you.
And I think we have other cards on this matter too, right?
Yes, we do. There's no further questions.
Thank you, Ms. Clark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Terrence Jackson.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good
afternoon, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen. I'm the general contractor, and
Excuse me, sir. Before you get any further, could you state your name, your address?
Terrence Jackson, 1641 Egret Circle, Suffolk, Virginia.
Okay.
I'm the general contractor. I was retained by Ms. Owens to help her with the build out of the commissary kitchen, particularly as it relates to the kitchen build out. As I have a pretty extensive background in fire protection, as I have a 32-year background in the fire department. I was aware that there were some concerns as it relates to the noise with the neighbor, and I told her there were some things that we could do to try to help address and alleviate those concerns, i.e. putting some sound barriers with the doors. There's some additional, some upgraded things you can do with the building. The building itself is concrete, is blocked, so there's very little noise that should be coming from the building itself. Some shrubbery, perhaps. Mr. Johnson, which is the architect, we've been working together with this plan in general. So therefore, anything that we need to try to move this forward, if possible, we would be willing to try to address the concerns of the community and the board. And I'm standing by for any questions if you may have any.
Yeah, I had a question about the size of the bay. One of the garage, are both, in your construction plan, will both garage door bays be remaining intact? Do you know?
No, actually, the one on the right-hand side, that door is functional. The door on the left-hand side, it will be secured.
Okay. And then the one on the right-hand side that's functional, is it possible for a food truck to drive into that bay, or is it not tall enough?
It's not tall enough.
It's
No,
not
sir.
tall enough.
No, sir.
So either way, so you said the other one is not functional?
No, sir, it's not functional.
So the one to the right, I'm facing the building, the one to the right is the one on the wall, the
Currently,
exterior
yes,
wall?
yes, sir. However, currently it's not functional, but if the plan requires that we need to make some adjustments and shift it to the one that's to the left, if that's something that, because the one to the right is closest to the neighbor, if that's something that needs to be adjusted and we need to make some adjustments and secure the one on the right and make the one on the left functional, that is something that we can adjust in our building plan.
Okay. So there's never a plan, it was never a plan for both doors to be utilized
No,
anyway?
no, sir.
Okay, roger that. Please help me understand, and Ms. Clark, you can help me too, because I've been sitting here pondering this question. Commissary kitchen, I'm not military, so I'm thinking child line. What's a commissary kitchen? Rather than just a kitchen.
So basically, it's for, I would say, or some people, have you heard of a ghost kitchen? Because some people say a ghost kitchen. Have you heard of that? No? Okay. I'm glad Miss Jessica. So basically, it is for people basically just starting out, small businesses that's doing catering or want to get into the realm of serving food. So basically, a lot of people can't afford the overhead when you're looking at a new business or you're looking at a startup. So with the commissary kitchen, basically you will have everything in the building that would be at a restaurant on the commercial grade that you can utilize. So you're gonna have your fryers, you're gonna have your ovens, your stoves, your mixers, your freezers, your refrigerators. So it's gonna be basically everything that you would have at a full-blown restaurant, but you get the rent. Bless you. Bless you. Jesus, bless you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, you're fine. So
it's
it's
that
basically
beard.
for a startup, because one thing that put people out of business as a small company is the overhead. So a lot of people that can't afford the overhead, that's why, one, they may get a food truck, and two, some of them may not have the cooking utensils on the food trucks, because you have food trucks that you can cook on,
Right.
and you have food trucks that you cannot. So with the commissary kitchen, they will bring their food in, they will get everything prepped, they will wrap it up, and then everything will be on the truck for them to sell.
Okay, commissary meaning it's all there, but
Yes.
under, yeah, I got it.
And anybody who's selling food must use a commercial kitchen.
Yes,
They
it is
can't use
mandatory.
their
Anybody that's
residential.
serving food by the health department, you have to have a connection with the commissary kitchen.
Gotcha.
So, like a lot of people cooking out of their homes, they shouldn't be, but some people don't have nowhere to go. But they do take the risk, as Mr. Williams said, you're going to be careful about the contamination and things not being served properly or kept at the proper temperatures. So this gives them a outlet or a place to go prepare their food and sell their food and have all the commercial grade items that they need. Or somebody was a caterer, say if you was a caterer and you get a big order and say, hey, I need to serve 100 people. You can't cook for 100 people out of your home, so you could go to my website, you can reserve a few hours, go use everything you need, prep your food and take it out and go cater at the event that you cater
I'm
at.
good now.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
I'm a taster, I don't cook.
Commissioner Lambert?
So the staff has recommended 16 conditions. Mrs. Clark, I'm sorry, as soon as you sit down, I call you back up.
The gentleman here, we haven't finished with Ms. Yeah,
My
I did that by
apologies.
accident, so we want to finish.
No, I'm sorry, if you have any more questions for me?
No, we're,
No.
And one other thing I may add, I know there was some concerns regarding parking. There is a small strip of a land right there to the left of the main parking area.
in the front door.
Yes, we can probably, if with the approval of the codes and compliance, we can address that, some parking by taking that strip of land there and manipulating that to address some parking for the additional staff,
Yeah, I saw that in one of your, in your.
if approved.
Got you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. You had a,
Mrs. Clark?
Yes, sir.
There are 16 conditions that staff has. We've discussed the second condition on the hours of operation. Do you have a problem with any of the other 15 conditions? Will any of the other 15 impede your business?
well, I don't remember the other 15.
If none come out to you, then that's an answer. Thank you.
I think she just need, give her a minute to take a
Okay.
look at them. Why don't you go with the next, let her look at them and go back.
Just the standard.
Yeah.
We didn't direct, we addressed that. Yeah, I think everything that we didn't address. Yes, what's the hours?
That's the only.
Sorry, hours of operation, I had that pushed down. But I think there is a little confusion with that first condition because when it was put in here, it was assumed that it was a total of 5 people.
Correct.
And not a total of 9 people. So,
Yeah.
So we just needed to clarify that. And then you did that initially on my first question, but it was just.
Yes, sir.
Because, you know, me and my 3 buddies, we can go in, but they can bring 2, I can bring 2, they can bring 2.
Yep, all 3 of y'all come on, bring some help.
Yeah, so.
So,
Okay.
We have a lot of questions, as you've heard.
Yes, sir.
It's a new concept, and if it gets approved, I wish you well.
Thank you so much, sir.
It sounds like to me that the churches would be able to use this too, because
Yes, sir.
most of them do not have commercial kitchens any longer,
Yes, I have, some churches have reached out to me as well.
you know.
Ms. McAllister, so if the presentation that Saul gave is a total of 5 people,
correct.
when we vote today in following up on Randy's point of clarification, we're voting on 5 people, not 9 people.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Unless
we
it's
made an
amended.
addition,
Okay,
unless we correct the proper.
correct, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we all
We could
understood
do
that.
an amendment on the
Correct,
time
we can,
also.
we can do both, so.
Gotcha. Thank you.
It can be amended so that it's 3 members under her.
Yes, we can make, so I got a note to make that one. Got other cards.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Ms. Clark.
We're-
We're
Thank you.
done.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Louis Johnson?
Good afternoon, members of the Planning Commission.
Good
afternoon.
I am Louis Johnson. I live in Hampton, 67 Scotland Road. I consider myself a peninsula resident. I attend church in Newport News. I'm at the Midtown Aquatic Center at least 3 times a week. So I have availed myself of your city's services. Having said that, the building as it stands is literally soundproof. Because of the construction, it sits back off of, I think it's 33rd Street?
34th Street.
34th Street,
34th, yeah.
at least 40-some feet. What I'd like you to reflect upon is the nature of the service that this kitchen commissary will provide. It has been my experience in talking to caterers that when they have a large order, they will go to a commercial kitchen in a church, or they might go to a restaurant and use that facility in off hours. So this is unique in that it is specifically allocated to be used by individual caterers or folks operating food trucks exclusively for their use. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol Totten.
Carol Totten, 619 34th Street. I got a lot of concerns. I live next door. So I've been there when the club was there, when it was an auto shop, when it was a glass place, and it's been kind of like rough. When I built the house, it was empty lot. And I built it because I wanted a dream house. It hurts me and I'm upset because no one think about the residents. I'm the closest one to this building. I have had problem with cats and dogs and rodents that I had to take care of myself. I'm a single mother. And I just can't see me sitting on the porch with all this traffic coming in my neighborhood. The trucks, the noise. My bedroom is on the same side as the building. I get up and I leave the house at 6. If they come in at 5, I'm gonna hear it all. I'm gonna hear the noise, the trucks. Hornsby, there are hours from 7 to 5. I'm at work. So by the time I get off work at 4, they get ready to close at 5. The gas station, 7 to 11. I don't hear too much from them because they're on the corner towards Jefferson Avenue. So my concern is to put that kind of a business there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I can't see myself living there with that activity all day and at a day of rest. Not for me. My neighbors and other people there, they're not affected like I am because I'm next door to it. There's no trees or fence gonna stop noise that I can't sit on my porch and hear. They come in there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna wake me every morning up out of my sleep. It needs to be, if it's gonna be there, it needs to be there with some hours. So I don't have to see or come home to that every day. If I could leave at 6:30 to go to work in the morning, it should open like Hornsby at 7. It shouldn't be open to 10 o'clock at night. I shouldn't have to go upstairs to my bedroom and try to sleep without hearing trucks still there at 10 o'clock. I understand it may be a need for it, but it don't have to be on 34th Street, not by my house. Not why I pay property taxes and want to come home and sit on the porch. It's taken away from the view that I have. I really don't have a good view. I got Hornsby, the police department, and the gas station. What else do I have to look at? But trucks and strangers come in my neighborhood that I don't even know. That's part of my safety. I'm a single woman. I don't know who you renting to. I don't know these people. They don't live in Newport News. My biggest problem is the hours and how many days a week. So if you could take that into consideration, I really would appreciate it.
So just to make sure we're hearing you correctly, in your opinion, for you as a resident of Newport News, still living here, but also recognizing the viability of the business, what would be good time for you, in your opinion, if for a business like this, that would not disturb you inordinately?
7 a.m. to maybe 7 p.m. It shouldn't be going on all night long and all day for 7 days. Not in my opinion. Whatever kind of business you have, it shouldn't affect the person that's next door to you.
But you understand the uniqueness of this type of building, this type of business, right? Because you had a, if I recall correctly, you had a club there.
At a motorcycle club.
Okay.
I
Now-
introduced myself. We came up upon an agreement with the members. If the noise get too loud, I would call, or if it didn't, I just call the police. They're across the street from my home.
How often did you have to do that for the motorcycle club, approximately?
Maybe from the time they was there, maybe 3.
But even Ms. Clark would work in the same conversation with you, from what I understand from what she said before. If something was, if somebody was to violate the rules that she's given them as being a member, then that conversation would be had with her and them, and she would welcome a call from you, I would assume, if you had a situation.
Yes, I talked to her last Thursday. She came and she told me about her plans. I wasn't happy about it. That's why I came today. I didn't know exactly what was going to be put there till I got the letter in the mail. Then they said, a resident kitchen, and I'm thinking, traffic, people in and out, noise, rodents. I've had a problem with cats and things, you know, in the neighborhood, and there used to be a dumpster there. And then I got that situated with the city and the SPCA and everything like that. But then I was thinking, I said, I'm always out here picking up trash from the store, you know, bags and stuff that fly around. I said, I don't have a problem with doing that. But this kitchen and people that I don't know in the neighborhood, in and out, it just don't sit well with me.
Thank
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That closes the public hearing. Discussion on the commission.
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry. When I was reviewing this application, I didn't realize, reading it, I review it before you all get it, that the food trucks were going to be coming to the location. And so whatever y'all decide, if you all decide to recommend this, even if you amend it, and because the applicant has agreed that she would not allow the food trucks to sell from the premises, and the planning department does not wish for that to happen either. But because the zoning matrix does allow food trucks to sell by right from private property, or to sell from their trucks on private property, I would recommend that you all add, if you move this forward with the positive recommendation to the city council, that there shall be no food truck sales on the premises. So I just wanted to give you that consideration for you to consider.
Thank you.
Mrs. Clark, you're shaking your head. Is that agreement? Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So we'll end up with petition 17 recommendations.
I had a question for the city. Are there any rules about how frequently a dumpster has to be emptied also? So if there's going to be food waste in the dumpster, are there any city ordinances that require frequency of the dumpster being, there's not, is there?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's by your contract. You
It's
establish
just
a
based
con-
on your contract.
You establish a contract with the dumpster service and they come
Right.
by. Could we have them at our church? I'm sure you have them at your church.
No, yeah, I didn't know if there was an ordinance, so if there was commercial food preparation, how long food would be allowed to remain in there without being, yeah. Oh, thank you.
My concern is that we have this business, I commend your business plan, but the tightness of the residents next to this commercial property and having hours that are not professional, the city, my experience here on the planning commission is we have a very difficult time approving where we have a business adjacent to a residential property that's not operating in what I would call professional hours, professional business hours, for the concern of the resident. And even with it being open from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., that only allows her 7 hours of peace to sleep, where she should be entitled to get 8 hours of sleep. And this is 7 days a week, so even if she's trying to catch up or anything.
I just think overall, I think the business model is sound, is definitely needed. I think there are several issues. I think we're all nodding our head. There's still several issues that maybe need to be hammered out to make sure that this will go off well.
That's what I'm
And to
tabling it.
to approve it with some conditions that you don't agree with, or to make modifications that other people, including your neighbors, don't agree with, I think it would be better for us to defer this at least for a period of time to see if we can hammer out those issues so you don't spin your wheels anymore until we know that it can be done, in my opinion, if that's agreeable.
I second that. Is that a motion?
A question first. If we defer it, how long are we allowed to defer it for before we have to take action?
Well, typically you have to refer it to the next meeting, but that would be in what? We're in April, that would be in May.
I would entertain that as a motion to defer to the next meeting.
So with that being said, I make a motion to defer this for some further comment and to a representation for us at the next most convenient meeting of number CU-2026-0001.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
I guess one thing I wanted to point out, very great points made on both sides. Want to acknowledge Ms. Clark did mention that obviously she has some financial obligations to take care of as well, right? So the more we defer this, the more she's on the hook of making sure that those financial obligations are met. But again, just wanted to kind of point that out since it was made, a point was made during the public hearing.
Yeah, no,
That's why I
everybody
want-
needs closure.
Yeah, but
Everybody
that's,
needs
yeah,
closure.
but that's why I made my comment to Ms. Clark earlier in regards to all of nothing in a comment or of time. There's always if you think hard enough and care enough about the people around you, there's always a happy medium. So we just got to take a few minutes and work that out. Because we would like nothing less than have this thing potentially go forward, and then you get a phone call every day, Ms. Clark, from neighbors that are concerned about stuff when you could have just talked to them. So that's why I vote for in support of the motion.
Well, it's been seconded.
Correct.
I was just seeing if there's any
I
further
second it.
discussion before we do roll.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say two things. First of all, I think that should we defer this and should it come back to us, we should give the applicant the preferred occupancy that she has requested. I think that her intended interpretation of total of 9 people total is reasonable. And secondly, the later the facility will be open, the more I would feel more comfortable with someone on Ms. Clark's staff being there during the facility's hours of operation,
Okay,
especially the later hours of
you
operation.
get the motion. Second.
Any
Second.
further discussion? Take roll.
This is for deferral.
This is for deferral.
Ma'am, do you have a,
To May 6th. That's the next meeting is May 6th.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Ms. Clark, you would have to come back for, I'm sorry.
So,
You're
I have
fine.
a question. And the reason I'm asking, as well as Mr. Dyer said, because this was on the agenda for a few months ago, so I'm already like 3 months behind. And now we're saying May, so that means if I come back in May, the first week in May, then I still need to go before city council. So that'd be at the end of May, or we might be pushing it to June. Is that correct or incorrect?
That's correct.
That's the schedule, yes.
Okay, so with that, I guess my question is, because again, I'm checking for understanding, am I having to meet with you again when we're saying, or am I meeting with Saul? So where is we're gonna circle back and we need to
You wanna answer that?
have another date versus, is this not something we could come up to so I can go before city council? I think it was the 26th or 28th that was scheduled.
The
I'm just-
23rd.
Okay, the 23rd. I'm just trying to see why we don't have to push it out a few more months.
is there,
If you like.
Okay, let me try to help you understand. Today, if we choose to vote today, we would potentially modify the recommendations to a suitable number that we as a committee accept,
Okay.
whatever number that may be, in addition to what's already been recommended. We will also make changes to any other things that we see fit today. And once that's voted in, the only opportunity you have after then, if we vote that in to accept it and move you forward, when you go to council, you have an opportunity to, at that time, voice your concerns. And see if, because it could go from our recommendations when it goes to council, it could be changed again. Council has the authorization to do that. They may side with your neighbor and say, no, 7 to 7 is perfect. So that gives you that's what happens if we go forward today.
Okay.
What we're proposing is that you get an opportunity to go back and sit with your neighbors and those and discuss with staff those concerns that we have about the time or whatever concerns they have. And then you bring back a finished package that everybody nods their head yes. So when it comes back before us, when it's recommended like it is now to go forward, everything is written the way you can accept it.
Okay.
And so all we're going to do, we can go forward at this point, but there's a motion that we can possibly, I think we also have the opportunity to kill that motion and go back and just change it now. And then you live with that going to council.
Right, because if we approve anything that you really don't agree with, then you're still in the same position.
Correct.
And then you will have to go and try to convince city council of the same thing that was recommended.
And then they're gonna turn around, could in turn push it back down to us again, and then you gotta wait again.
But based on you standing up and you voicing your concerns, I work with a lot of different restaurateurs, and time is money, and time is rent, and everything has a consequence. And so I hear your concerns loud and clear. Would it be in your interest for us to try to push this through?
If it's all possible, yes, if we could push it through, because, I mean, if I have to go before city council and for them to make a decision, I would like to try to see what we can do. I didn't bring it, but I did start a petition for the neighbors who would agree for the 24/7, and I do have neighbors that's already signed this in agreement with the 24/7. I didn't bring it today, because I thought that I would probably need it for council, but I do have neighbors that was in agreement and on board. As Ms. Carroll say, it's not with her to stand by there, that she's right beside the building. But again, everything that I can do to make sure that I can accommodate the noise. But I also want to say this. If I do not do the commissary kitchen, in all fairness, if I let any other business go in there, and if I rent that building out, guess what? It could be another motorcycle club. It could be a hookah lounge. It could be whatever it wanted to be, and there's no control. So that's the other thing about that too, to say that it could be rented to another. I can rent the building to whoever just want to rent the building, and then we can have some of anything or any type of business in there, versus me trying to make sure that we do have rules and regulations and in control. Because again, there was a car shop there. When I got the building, was the car shop. And then the motorcycle club was there because, and again, I know I spoke with her and she did say she was concerned about the motorcycles, the revving up, the noise, everybody riding bikes. And I'm a biker too. So, and I know we ride bikes all times of the night and all type of days, and we have the mufflers and we change them, and it's loud noise because I have a Harley. So I get it. So at the end of the day, if I don't, if another biker club say, hey, I want to rent the building, there's nothing stopping me from renting the building, and we're back with the bikers at the building.
Well, I will say a lot of those uses require conditional use permits too.
Correct.
So a lot of the objectionable uses would have to come back before Planning Commission and City Council also, because the building's been vacant for a while.
Right. So,
If I may,
Come on, Carl.
I think she wants to pull.
Yes.
Come on.
You were scheduled to appear in front of you a month ago, and we had the issue of the scheduling, and so trying to get to a place where we could agree to a schedule was the reason for deferring it. So I don't know that will change. We try.
And I think what Saul is saying is that the hours of operation have always been the issue. Originally, when the applicant came to us, we wanted to recommend against it based on the 24-hour operation. We've been trying to work with the applicant to come up with some acceptable hours. We got to the hours where we are now. We were under the impression that the applicant had met with the adjacent neighbor, and understanding today that the adjacent neighbor, I think you met with her on Thursday.
Yeah. I went a couple of times.
So, you know.
So if the motion gets withdrawn for deferment, really the only two changes that we're making to the proposal are not allowing food trucks to sell directly to consumers, to add that, and then to clarify that the 3 members plus 2 helpers is a total of 9 people, not 6.
There's 3 changes, and the third one will be the time, operation hours.
Well,
we have to discuss
because in
that.
our application was 24 hours, and we're proposing.
yeah, but the proposal
proposals.
that I would be,
We can
if I were
vote.
going to move for the proposal to recommend approval, I'd be
Correct, you'd be
the
accepting
staff's.
those, correct.
So it's
Separate.
just 2.
Yes, just 2.
It's just 2 changes.
I'll apologize for that.
Well, because we're just hearing from the neighbor today, and the neighbor is a major component of this particular application. It is not just the applicant. The neighbor is there, the neighbor will be there. The issue for us has always been the introduction of food trucks coming and going in the middle of the night and the early morning hours.
Right.
And I think hearing what I heard today, that staff would probably have considered stricter hours than what we have in the application before you.
So, with that, give me just a quick one. Hypothetically, we pull back the deferral. We vote in and accept the proposed application with the changes, with the 2 modifications. Ms. Clark still has the opportunity to voice her concerns at City Council about the times.
Correct.
If she still chooses not to accept the 5 to 10. But that will be at council.
That would be at council.
Correct.
This is just me. It would be better to resolve this issue here as opposed to letting it go to council. Council will not make that decision or make that change. They will send it back to staff.
Correct. And then back to us.
Yeah.
So Ms. McAllister, are you saying that you came today under the impression that the neighbor had agreed to the 5 to 10?
No, we were
hours?
told that the neighbor had no concern with it. The neighbor was in support.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have,
For closure for you within a month, 2-month period. That's,
It's likely
So
to be a
that-
quicker process.
so that's why I recommend deferral, and then when we come back together, we have to make a decision. But I think there may be some things that can be ironed out so that we give something clean to city council, so that you now don't have to go back and appeal to them also. But again, that's just my opinion. If that's being said, if the rest of the commissioners just want to vote for it now, I will rescind.
I agree with you. I think deferral would be the best.
well, we have the motion now, it's been seconded.
Any
For
further
deferral.
discussion?
Do we have any more questions for the applicant? If not, she can.
No more.
Or does she have any more questions for us?
I would like to ask the applicant, were we to consider what you would want in the short term, would you rather that we vote on this today with some conditions?
We had that question already.
Yeah.
We posed that question to her when she came up. If we voted it on today, I'll wait till later on. We're going for, I apologize. We're going
Well,
full circle here.
let's let him finish this question, because maybe it's different, right?
Okay.
Every commissioner is entitled to their,
Well, I don't think this has been asked, I might be wrong. Would you prefer that we move forward with this today, possibly with conditions that you might find onerous, or would you prefer that we defer it to see if accommodation more favorable to both you and the neighbor would be reached?
So I would like to have the commissary kitchen 24/7. That is what I would like. So as far as, because I did hear her time and she said 7 to 7. That's not feasible for me. Running the business and being the one that's taking the risk with the money and the loan, I just want to make sure that the window is available for the hours that people need. It just wouldn't make sense to have a commissary kitchen open if the hours are not available, that the people need the hours to be available for the small business to make money. It just wouldn't be feasible.
So you can't make the numbers work if you have to open after 5 o'clock?
Well, if they have to be at the shipyard at 5 o'clock or 6, it's going to be hard, to open it at 5 and you got to be at the shipyard at 5. That's not going to work. That's a whole different opportunity of money that I will be missing out on.
Ma'am, I'm familiar with the lunch window. I'm also familiar with the day window and the canteen window on the Shipyards campus. Can you speak to, so breakfast or that service is catered to that particular hour block, and it is from, you said 5 to 6?
5 a.m. and 6 a.m. is when the trucks come in. Actually, I spoke with the director at the shipyard, and he runs, I think it's Airmark. Actually, he even said, hey, if you need some help, I will even partner with you because it's a huge need, and these trucks need it at the shipyard. So he was even willing to partner with me to try to get this project up and running because he said it's a huge need as well. He was like, I'm glad you're doing this because it's really needed. So I know it's something that's really needed, but I don't want to, I mean, for example, if we know people need to be in at 2 or 3 o'clock and then it's not available, and that opportunity or that window is there to generate revenue and then it's gone, at the end of the day, I'm going to be on the hook for that loan and going to need to be making those payments.
So would you be negotiable instead of, if trucks have to be on campus down the street at between 5 and 6
So-
promptly, would you be like amenable to 4? Or does that still not work with your business plan?
Maybe 3 a.m. I mean, you just got to give them time to get the food. So if it's 4 and they got to be there at 5, you're only going to have an hour to cook. I just don't think that's feasible.
Mrs. Clark, we've discussed opening times quite a bit. Your neighbor has spoken to the amount of time she would have to rest free of the noise. Why do you feel the need to close at 10 p.m. and not earlier? I'm sorry,
Again-
why would it be an inconvenience for you to have to close at 10 p.m. instead of
Because looking
staying
at,
open?
okay, I'm sorry. Looking at just the history and talking to someone that's currently doing it, they're telling me those are the hours that people really need to be in for prepping, as well as Ms. Archer said, when you're doing baking and you cooking, those are the type of hours. I mean, even for the holidays, when I get up and cook for Christmas, I'm getting up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm cooking for Christmas to make sure that the food is ready at a certain time because it just takes time.
Are you cooking until 10 p.m.? I think that my question is, why do you feel the need to be open past 10 p.m.?
Because normally that's the people that's cooking for food trucks or people that's caterers, they're going in and they're cooking during the late hours or the wee hours of the morning. That's the time that people normally cook and prepare their foods.
I think, back
I'm not answering, did that not answer the
we had the
question?
I'm going to say Brother Lambert, but fellow
I'll
Commissioner
take
Lambert, on the backside of that, he's talking PM, right? So why is there a need to, rather than shutting down at 7 in the afternoon, so that, one, your neighbor is now getting off work, she's had dinner, she can go to sleep, and then knowing that you probably more so woke her up earlier in the morning, but you don't keep her up until 10 o'clock because you're still running, because the food preparation is going to take care early in the morning. And if I'm doing a catering service, and 9 times out of 10, most people want to eat before 8 o'clock somewhere. So I'm just,
I understand what you're saying.
That was his question, why do you have to go to 10?
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand fully.
Yeah, why you have to go to 10?
To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not sure of the times. I mean, again, this is something that we don't have in the city of Newport News.
Right.
It's something that's needed. I still think it's going to be the time that it's whatever someone book and go to the portal. So I still think it's something that we're going to have to generate history on, but we're still trying to make it available for our community that's there. I mean, this is something that's new for all of us. It's new for something that's needed. I mean, I'm definitely taking her feelings, in consideration. I mean, she's still my neighbor. I'm 25th Street. I get it, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at the less fortunate, the people that's unhoused. As you said, the churches. We have the food banks that needs places to cook. I mean, I come out and I donate and I help my time. And I help people as far as trying to be a servant for the less fortunate. And one thing that struck me was when we were sitting and we was giving out turkeys and hams, I had a guy to walk up on a bike and we gave him a frozen ham. And you know what he said? How am I going to cook this? I don't have no food. I mean, you have a lot of people out here that's less fortunate that don't have nowhere to prepare or to cook. And if the food bank come in or say, hey, Sharon, I need you to come in and I need you to help and I need to utilize it, I'm boots on the ground. I'm going to do whatever I can to help.
I think it's likely it's going to be deferred today. That's my sense. I don't wonder too if, when it goes back to planning, if there's not an opportunity to bring some clarification for when food trucks can be there to load and unload versus when people can also be in the building cooking, because those, to me, are two different things. If someone's showing up at 1 in the morning to go into a kitchen and prepare food, that seems, to me, it's not going to create any noise. But food trucks loading and unloading is different. So I don't wonder if you have an opportunity to go back to planning.
Okay.
That maybe that might be something that you would talk with them about separating out when people can be there preparing food, and then when food trucks can be on-site loading and unloading. That might help you with your hours.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does.
So I think the consensus, it sounds like the consensus, it would give you more of an opportunity to work this thing out. 'Cause we would rather send something clean to council than have council send something back to us through the office to have to rework because it wasn't clean when we sent it up to them.
Commissioner, I would say that is not the consensus amongst us.
No, I'm saying, I
Uh,
started to say
that is-
consensus, but I did not.
Can I just say one
You can
last
correct me
thing?
right.
I think Ms. Clark has said she wants a 24-hour operation,
Right.
including food trucks. So I think before you today is whether or not you either voted up or you voted down, if you voted today, or you defer it. If we're going to defer it, then we can go ahead and do that because we have, several things following this.
Well, there's a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded to defer. Correct, is that right?
That's correct.
Yep, so I think you call for a vote.
Well,
Commissioner Lambert,
No.
Commissioner Michelle,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Taylor,
4.
Commissioner Diaz,
Against?
Commissioner Archer,
4.
Commissioner Black,
Against?
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Shook,
against,
Is it split or is it
No, it's
motion,
denied?
motion fails 4-4.
Okay.
All right, so as a point of order,
I'm sorry,
No.
I'm
Four to
sorry.
none. Five to
I-
none.
I apologize. Okay, motion carries 5-4.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So it's been deferred. Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next is conditional use permit 2026 Tech 0002, presented by Saul Gleiser.
Hello again.
Hello.
We have application CU 2026-0002. It's by Core Civic Incorporated, who is the owner and applicant, and they are requesting a conditional use permit for an expansion of a halfway house from 84 residents to 96 residents. The property is located at 7714 Warwick Boulevard, and it contains 1.88 acres. North of the property is Mercury Boulevard access ramp. East, we have Tar Colonial Pipeline Company and J.R. Loan and Landscape, and the CSX Railroad Corridor on property zone C2 General Commercial. South is an auto shop on property zone C2 General Commercial. And finally, west is the Mercury Boulevard access ramp. The One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan land use map designates 7714 Warwick Boulevard as being appropriate for regional commercial development, which is intended to accommodate large destination retail, wholesale, light industrial, tourist attractions, lodging, and service establishments with a coordinated design. The site is within the new market planning opportunity area. It is also within the tourism and technology economic development incentive zones. The use is not in conformance with the future land use plan. The property has been zoned C2 General Commercial since the citywide comprehensive rezoning became effective on August 1st, 1997. On February 20th, 2007, the Board of Zoning Appeals granted special exception SE 2775 to expand a non-conforming use for a halfway house at 7714 Warwick Boulevard. The approved special exception allowed for a 100% expansion of the operation from 40 residents to no more than 80 residents and allowed for a 1,441 square feet addition to the original building. On May 26, 2015, City Council approved conditional use permit CU 15348, allowing the operation of the halfway house at this location. The conditional use permit limited the facility to no more than 84 residents and allowed for the construction of yet another addition of 1,418 square feet to accommodate the 4 additional residents. That conditional use permit conditioned a maximum of 84 residents and no other increases in the population or the size of the facility. A halfway house is permitted in the C2 General Commercial District with approval of a conditional use permit. Prior to 1997, the use was permitted by right. That's why you have that use here. The facility opened in 1988 with a maximum occupancy of 40 residents and became non-conforming in 1997. In 2015, the current conditional use permit was approved, allowing an increase in occupancy to a maximum of 84 residents. Condition 8 of that approval clearly states that other than the addition approved by this conditional use permit, CU 15348, there shall be no other expansions to the facility. The zoning administrator has noted her objection to the request to increase occupancy. The proposed increase from 84 to 96 residents represents a further intensification of a use that has already expanded significantly beyond its original non-conforming status of 40 residents. The property has previously received 2 approvals, allowing both an increase in resident population and an expansion of the building footprint. As part of the most recent approval, the conditional use permit specifically stated that no further expansion of the facility would be permitted. The building official noted that all public areas and rooms should meet accessible requirements, and for institutional uses such as the one being proposed, a commercial kitchen is required. The fire department specified that all requirements as prescribed in the USBC regarding fire and life safety systems must be met. Core Civic is the new owner and operator of the existing halfway house. Rehabilitation Services Incorporated owned and operated the halfway house until 2019 and secured the existing conditional use permit, assuring us that there would be no other expansions to the use. The existing conditions limit the facility to a maximum of 84 residents and prohibit any expansion of the use. The applicant now seeks yet another expansion to increase capacity and increase the facility footprint. The property is located within the enterprise zone and is eligible for new market tax credits intended to spur economic development. Although the current use is not consistent with the intended uses for the area, the existing structure is located adjacent to the access ramp from Warwick Boulevard to Mercury Boulevard and is approximately 68 feet from the southern property line. Adding to the existing facility will increase its prominence and visibility from Warwick Boulevard and significantly decrease the buffer between the use and the adjoining parcel to only 5 feet, increasing the potential for negative impacts on future developments on the abutting parcels that are consistent with the adopted plan. This section of Warwick Boulevard corridor serves as an entrance to the city and has recently experienced an increase in homeless-related activity. This is partly due to the proximity of the Day Services Center, the availability of full restrooms facilities at the YMCA, and the location of a new facility serving the homeless population a few blocks away. Although the facility houses residents until their release, some individuals may remain in the area if they encounter difficulty securing housing or services, thereby increasing the unhoused population in the area. The adjacent residential neighborhoods and newer residential developments, such as the new housing development at the old Daily Press building across the street, may experience additional strain if a higher concentration of transient populations continue to gather in the area. The business plan indicates the project would entail the expansion of the use, adding 12 beds, which will result in the need for a new 3,000 square foot addition, as well as new exterior walk-in cooler and freezer, which is contrary to the existing conditions. In conclusion, overall, the proposal would expand a use that is not consistent with the surrounding land uses or with the recommendations of the One City, One Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan. The current request to increase occupancy to 96 residents represent an expansion beyond the limits established by the prior approval, and it's inconsistent with the conditions under which the previous permit was granted. Increasing occupancy would further intensify the use of the property and could affect the site's ability to adequately support emergency access and response. Finally, the proposed expansion would increase the visibility of the use and require partial removal of the existing buffer between the facility and neighboring properties. This could negatively affect the future development potential of adjacent parcels and may contribute to a greater concentration of homeless individuals in this section of Warwick Boulevard, placing additional strain on nearby residential and commercial properties. Thus, it is recommended that Planning Commission recommends to City Council denial of conditional use CU 2026-0002 for the expansion of a halfway house at 7714 Warwick Boulevard. Are there any questions?
You can go first.
It says here that the police had no objection to the request. Was there anything specific about that? Did the police say anything specific as to they had no objections? Just like a simple paper, they read it and said no objection to the expansion?
Who did?
The police.
Oh, the police has no concern.
Okay.
This is my question. So if it's been a halfway house since 1988 and it already serves 84 people, I think what I'm having a hard time understanding is how increasing it by 12 individuals really changes the impact to the community as a whole. So maybe you could help speak to that.
Sure. The fact is, when we approved the additional 4 people back in 2015, we got assurances of the property owner that that was it, that there will be no more growth, no more additions, and we would keep that 65 feet buffer between this property and the next property.
I see.
If we keep on increasing, even though we have assurances that this won't happen, where do we stop? And we are increasing visibility of a use that can have negative impacts on the adjacent property.
So is this the same owner that's applying now? It's a different owner now, though, right?
It's a different owner.
So the person that made those assurances, they're not the ones that are making this application?
And that is why it was conditioned that no other expansions.
No, I just wanted to clarify that it's a different owner. So what you're saying, Saul, is, because this is helpful to me, it's not so much the increase of 12 more people, it's the fact that it reduces the buffer, and that buffer was an important consideration in the past as far as its impact to the community?
That and the increase on the population too is.
Yeah, I think, did I understand it correctly, Saul? With the increase in 12, it increases the requirement for more space?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why it would go online, so you would have to extend it. Why, you have to build longer, the building have to get bigger to
No,
accommodate
sure.
the 12.
Do we know, I'm sorry if I wasn't paying attention, did you speak directly to how much of the buffer would be lost? If it's, did
Right
you
now
say
it's
60
65.
feet buffer?
It will go to 5.
It will go to a buffer of 5 feet?
Yes.
With this addition?
Yeah.
Yes.
I see, okay.
And probably
That's helpful.
we should have required the buffer under the conditions last time.
Yeah.
To hold the buffer.
Yeah.
So that's not a condition right now, that it remains a 65-foot buffer?
And it wasn't a condition back in 2015.
Yeah, the condition before was that it would no longer expand. But this particular use, not only is it expanding, it's also adding females to this location. Right now, it's just males, and now it will be females. And it's a halfway house, so the people that come here are still in the justice system. But it's not like it's a local facility, It's just a place that houses people who are at that point where they can be released. And that's, so they can accept people from all over. So if you are here, and that's part of our concern, is that this particular location, you have Four Oaks, which is a service facility. So at some point, people will be released. They may go home to wherever they originally live, or they may stay here based on the fact that they're working here. And once that happens, you have a situation where if the person cannot find housing, then there is a service center across the street. We have a homeless population that specifically concentrates in this particular area. So it's basically saying that at this point, we want to see changes in this particular area, and we don't want to continue to expand uses that are group-type uses.
Which are not supported by the plan.
So, a little bit off topic, but halfway houses in the city of Newport News, do we have an abundance? Are we at a shortage? Is there a programming need that is underserviced?
No, This is the only halfway house in Newport News, and the original halfway house that was there came in prior to some of the regulations that we have in place today, and that's how it was able to stay there and continue to expand.
Ms. McAllister, when you say it's the only halfway house, does that also mean it's the only residential facility for people that might be in the justice system, dealing with drug addiction? When you say halfway house, are you using a specific definition?
Yeah.
Or are you saying this is the only residential facility serving under-resourced people in the
Now,
city?
this is a halfway house for people that are in prison.
I see.
Yeah, this is true.
No,
This
So
is truly
they are
a halfway
completing their
house.
sentences.
Right, just want to make sure that we're all clear.
It seemed, my quick comment was that seemed maybe shocking to me that it was the only one in the whole city. Is that surprising?
That's surprising. Why would that seem shocking, that it's the only
Well,
one? in the city?
I would assume there's a substantial need for this type of programming, and to have that programming for only 84 residents across
So
the.
we shouldn't confuse a halfway house
Okay, I think that's what
for
happened, yeah.
people that are completing their prison sentences with group
group home.
homes,
Correct.
which take
Thank you.
people that need
Yeah.
rehab
Right.
or
So that's where, I
Are
think that's why you were
homeless
saying it was so unusual that would be only one. But you got a lot of group homes.
Thank you for the
The
clarification.
presenter is here today also,
yes,
right?
and we have a lot of group homes that cater to that population that are already here in Newport News.
You're right.
Thank you,
This
sir.
one will be bringing people finishing their sentences in prisons all around the country.
Is there any significant amount of those group homes or other uses that to the layman might seem somewhat similar to a halfway house in the general area of where this is? Or is it the only one in the area?
No, it's not the only one in the area. You
This
just
is the-
approved one not too long ago.
No, this is the only halfway
Halfway
house.
house.
Only
There
halfway
are
house.
homeless facilities in the
Right.
general vicinity.
They're numerous.
Right.
And
'Cause
group
you
homes.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind the halfway house component is that they're transitioning from prison or some
They
kind
are
of
finishing their
Affiliated
sentences.
with
a prison system somewhere.
system.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be our prison system here in Newport News. They look for a bed. When you scan it, if I'm going to be released, they look for a bed somewhere. And I can be in, I don't know, Moyock, North Carolina, and I'm looking for a bed, and they found one in Newport News. Okay. And that's where they're sending me to finish my term before I come out. So the people can come from anywhere.
Correct,
And I think that's what they're making clear on.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Thank you, Sal. Opening the public hearing. First card, Carlos Melendez.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
good afternoon.
Carlos Melendez, 5501 Virginia Way, Tennessee. Thank you for having me here. I want to take this time to maybe clarify a misunderstanding on classifications, populations, and verbiage. The one thing that's been commented is, yes, the residents coming are from the Bureau of Prisons. A couple years ago, the Bureau of Prisons passed something called the First Step Act with the Department of Justice. What that program did was say, when someone is getting ready to be released, we want to put them closer to home. So what the Bureau of Prisons did was adopt a program to say those people who are going to the Newport News area, let's try to get them closer to the home. So the demographics of our facility has changed. We are not a halfway house. We are a re-entry center, completely different missions, completely different goals. What we do today is the people that are there today, they are from the local area. They will be released to Newport News or the surrounding area. What we do today is ensure that they are working and they have a place to stay. If they don't have a place to stay upon discharge, the uniqueness about our program is since we're not a secure facility and we're a reentry center, that person can say, hey, I haven't found a place yet, I need to stay a little longer. The unique thing about our program is because they're with us about 12 to 18 months, there's a lot of time for us to work with them. They're all assigned staff to work with them versus the old way. The old way was Carlos is getting released, he's going to Newport News, let him go. That's that. No job, no area to go find a place to live or anything like that. They can't keep you in custody. So the purpose of the program that we operate is to prep the person to re-enter into their community. This is their community. They're not coming from other areas and going to discharge another state. They're going to live here. The reason we asked for the CUP is because DOJ asked us to look at our plans because they have a problem with females. When I say problem, a challenge, an obstacle. They have female residents that are going to discharge into this community and nowhere to place them. So the option is release them upon discharge on that final day, or send them to a facility like ours and help them get acclimated into the community so they don't wind back up where they were. So that's the goal and that's the purpose, and that's why we are here today about asking for the beds. I cannot speak to the former owner. I can't tell you why they made assurances. What I can tell you, before we even broached this topic, we had DOJ look at the standards. They have a very specific standard that said statement of works, which has space limitations and many different things, job opportunities, housing opportunities, and so forth. We had our engineers look at it and say, this is doable. And there was a comment made about the CUP about no cap, or excuse me, putting a cap. But we went back and said, well, do we have the space? Can we do this and be in compliance? DOJ came back and said yes, and our engineers came back and said yes, we can do this and be compliant with holding this population. So I wanted to clarify that because these are not people that are coming from states that are just, again, using North Carolina, coming from North Carolina, and we're going to release them to Newport News. No, they're folks that are from this community that if they don't have their option upon discharge, they're going to get released, and they're not going to have the tools or the assistance needed to help them find a job or a place to live. And if they get to a place and say, I have a job, but I haven't secured some housing, I can stay. Now, we can't make them stay. Obviously, they have to be able to agree to that. And the reason we can do that is because we're not a secure facility. We don't have fences or anything like that. It's a non-secure facility. That's why they can elect to stay. Forgive me, I just heard a lot of things. I just wanted to clear that up.
That's good. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the education.
Yes.
So with the homeless population, we have not, since we've operated, contributed to anything with your homeless population here. If anything, the director's with me and she'll speak. We've done the inverse. We have been a community partner. We've got community support. We have helped the homeless. We have a community relations board. We are inclusive in this community. I understand that people live in this community. My director lives in this community. So we want to be a partner. We want to embrace what the challenges are. So that's what we're doing with this. With respect to the boundaries, correct, they were not in place. If I need to scale back something, I will. So another clarification, the expansion is not for beds. The expansion is for office space. We have existing footprint inside to repurpose the space to put the 12 beds. I wanted to provide the staff better working environment and give them more space and more. If we need to scale that back, by all means, we're amenable to it. But the actual physical expansion is office space, not beds. If I need to put landscaping, trees, whatever, we'll respect that. If we have to cut back from 3,000 to 1,200, that's fine. It's only 8 staff. That's all that I'm going to put in that building. I just wanted them to give them a place to say, hey, this is a new mission for us, and just more space for them to work and be proud of where they work at. Not that they're not, I just wanted to reward them with something. But if we need to scale that back to be in compliance, by all means, we'll scale it back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because my first question, as you say that right now, is how come you just don't scale back to 74 men and add 12 women? If what your expansion is office space.
That has to come from DOJ, because the contract we assume from DOJ is for that need, because there's a need for the males as well. And those males are working in the shipyard today. They're all working. Every eligible person we have in the facility today is working in the local community today, right now.
You mentioned that your residents are from the area. Define area. Are we talking like reaching down to North Carolina or just the peninsula? Or-
No, from the Virginia. We try to keep, well, I'd say, the Bureau likes them to keep them hour or so, maybe an hour from the area. But we have people right now that are from Newport News, Norfolk, and so forth and so on. The request is for 12 beds. Doesn't mean it's going to be used. We have the capacity today to hold 84. The count today is maybe 70. And we've never been at our capacity. But that was the ask. Can you at least secure some beds for us so that we can start releasing these women back to their area?
Is there a need to have some of this expansion specifically because it's female inmates you're taking in? That is, do you have a count today of 70, you say. You're approved for up to 84. So sounds like you could take 12 more now. Is the reason that you need an expansion in part because there are separate facilities needed if you're going to add female inmates?
To add the 12 beds, I was going to repurpose a conference room and a couple of office spaces. So when the concept was drawn and everybody was looking at it, I said, well, I asked, my board, can I just give the staff a new office building right next door? So that was a request from me, and I got it approved to add more space. But do I need 3,000 square feet for office space? No. Can I scale it back to just accommodate the conference room that I'm repurposing and the one office? Sure.
That wasn't my question, sir. My question
I
is
apologize.
Whether you need specific facilities that you don't have right now to take in female inmates, or whether your part of the expansion is simply because you need more capacity for any type of inmate. Are there facilities that you need to have in order to have female inmates in the building that you need to expand in order to build?
No, because I could just repurpose existing stuff.
That was and that was my question. I'm going to piggyback off that one too.
Yeah.
So in your present footprint, what you have today, just do away with the fact that you wanted to expand. You say, no, I don't have to. I can just repurpose my existing footprint to get the 12 beds that I need internal to the building that you have, and just not do the office space. Then we wouldn't have this conversation.
My apologies. I would need to replace some of the office space because I'm taking away a conference room that's used for training, that's used for onboarding, and I'm taking away a workspace that case managers are in.
Okay, so you're gonna. Okay,
Yeah.
now that's what we were trying to understand.
Thank you for that. My apologies, but yes, I
You
would
do
need.
you do need to build, even though you can
Yeah.
get the beds, you still need the space.
Yeah.
Or some form of it.
Of some form, I need some space to accommodate for at least what we're
In
taking.
addition.
Yeah.
Can I say just one thing? The original conditional use permit that came through, that allowed it to expand to 84, had the same concern that he's saying now as far as office space. And that office space was supposed to move to Warwick Boulevard and Rebel Street outside of that building to allow the ability to have, all of the inmates inside that one facility. And I don't know if you all purchased that with this particular building,
We did not.
because the conditional use permit was for both those buildings.
And you
With the
and
prior
you no
owner.
longer own that
The prior
other
owner.
building.
Yes.
Sorry?
You no longer own that other.
We
building.
never owned it.
Okay.
No, we never owned that building.
So you just get the primary site.
Yeah, the owner had two separate buildings. We purchased the one we occupy today.
I have a question for Saul. I'm sorry. Are they limited just on the square footage, or are they also limited on the occupancy by the previous conditional use permit?
The occupancy also.
Both, okay.
Even though they're a new owner, I'm sorry, I'm new. So even though it's a different owner?
Yes, the
Yes.
conditional use permit runs
goes
with
with
it.
Okay, okay.
Runs with the property, not the owner.
Sir, I was just going to say, you seem quite passionate, and
I
sounds,
am.
it sounds like you've
I know
got
I'm like, yeah.
a pretty entrenched history with this kind of programming. Can you just give us just a 2-minute background real quick?
Of myself?
Yes, sir.
So I've been doing this since 1990. I started with the state of Oklahoma, working in a prison system. When Core Civic, back then CCA, was building a facility, I transitioned to the private sector, went to school, went to college. I went from a correctional officer to a warden. Then I went into the business office and started working with contracts, renewals, proposals. And about 2.5, 3 years ago, an opportunity came back to what they call the operations side, which is our community branch, to oversee the Federal Bureau of Prisons programs across the country, as well as California and Wyoming.
Thank you, sir. So
Thank you.
you know the population, you know the programming pretty well, from every
Yes.
from every aspect.
And again, there's distinctions, halfway house, reentry centers, but very,
Thank-
very different.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Next is Shalita Camp.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Shalita Camp, address is 7718 Warwick Boulevard, which is the facility's physical address, where I am the facility director, and Mr. Melendez is my managing director. While I do share the same passion with him, my career spans about almost 20 years in corrections. I probably have a more personal closeness with it. One, because I'm in the facility with the guys. My population today is 75 in-house and 65 on home confinement. And I know Mr. Lambert said something about, well, we have 70 today, or it may be 70 today. I had 3 come in yesterday. 2 may leave tomorrow. 5 may come tomorrow. So the population fluctuates. And as Mr. Melendez was saying, the Bureau of Prisons may house them because they have the ability to house them while they're in prison in different states, because that's just their choice, and they move them everywhere depending on their classification and custody. Custody level changes or not. But like you said, when they come to me, they're from this local area. I have individuals that have personally known me, know my family, because they've grown up in my neighborhood. Hampton, Newport News, as far as Fredericksburg, typically it's about a 100-mile radius. The more personal aspect that I'll give you just a really quick background on it, I'm a product of the system as a child, now as an adult. My mother was in the federal prison system and was released to a halfway house several years ago. So up to the age of 16, I was raised by my grandparents. My mother served her sentence, went to Emporia, went to Goochland, and she was in the halfway house and was released back to this city because this is where she came from. So it's more personal to me, just to share that little nugget with everyone. But like Mr. Melendez says, we have good community relations partners. We partner with Link, with Ms. Liz Parker with Link, donating mattresses. I've donated to the homeless, care packages. We go hand out care packages. I partner with churches, local churches. Dr. Tremaine Johnson at Zion, he's on my community relations board. Jerome Barber from Six Mount Zion is also partnered with us. And I'm sure all of you are very well versed and known with my pastor, Pastor Willard Maxwell. He also is on my community relations board and supports this mission. Jennifer Burgess Brooks, NAACP chapter president for Newport News. She's also on my community relations board and also mentors my guys. On a monthly basis, she comes to the halfway house. All of these guys physically come to the halfway house and actually talk to them and are in support of having the females come. It is important for us to try to bring them back home because otherwise they're just sitting in prison. And when they come back, some have served 18 months, some have served 30 some odd years. And if you come back and you know as well as I know it's 2026, serving 30 years, they don't know how to function a computer, they don't know how to find a job, they don't know how to use a telephone. So it's certain things that we do at our program, help them get GEDs, help them acclimate themselves back into society. I have guys that work at the Norfolk shipyard. That is our biggest partner. I can probably tell you now that I have probably no less than 20, 25 residents that are fully employed gainfully at the Norfolk shipyard. Owens and Minor, Goodwill, 73% of my population right now is employed in the city of Newport News, Hampton, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Fredericksburg. I have good guys. We have no negative police interaction. As I think was pointed out, the police had no issue. Police came, they did our site check and said, as far as they're concerned, they have no concerns because we don't have negative police interaction. The police come back and actually don't have really interaction with my guys because it's not permitted, but they come back and check on us and just talk to the staff. Fire department, don't have any negative impact with the fire department. We're up to codes and compliance. They get served hot meals. They're there all day. They go out to work. They come back. They don't cause negative impact in the community.
Thank you.
From a management perspective, day to day, and with other reentry centers, what's been the dynamic when you have men and women in the same facility, in the same space?
So again, this facility currently right now, we don't house
Right,
females.
right.
However, I do have females on home confinement. Those females come in, they check in, they're separated from the men, they're escorted back to their case manager. They do their notes, they're escorted back up front, they're sent back out. We do urinalysis, we do breathalyzers and all that stuff, and that's all supervised by female staff.
Yeah, Ms.
And are
Anthony, you
escorted.
wanna come up? But I was saying, have you contacted other reentry centers where they had them both housed in the same area?
He can answer.
Yeah.
that
If I may,
better
not
if
to.
you want. He can answer that.
This current site, no, but yes, I do.
Okay.
Actually, I have 7 other sites that commingle.
Okay.
And what we do is, they have a completely separate entrance and exit, so there's no interaction with respect to just casually walking by and so forth. So they are completely isolated as far as entry points and exit points, and as far as if they're in their facility, their time is not commingling with each other or anything like that. Plus security cameras and all that. I can see every facility from my home and watch things.
And he does, because he'll call me. He does.
But, so she may not have the experience, but Core Civic does, and I have, like I said, 6, 7 sites that currently do this, and that's how they all.
Do you, and I need, just to be honest, do you see an increase in incident reports with those co-ed type of facilities?
No, not at all. You would think so, but no. And again, it boils back to the mission of the facility. These are people that are wanting to work, they want to find a place to live. They know if something goes awry, they can easily go back. So they're not there for treatment with respect to overcoming an obstacle or anything. They're fully vetted out to say they want to move on, and how can we guide them? So my apologies, not to cut it off.
No, thank you.
Okay.
You mentioned, I might be for either one of you, but you mentioned home confinement. Can you explain a little bit about that and how that operates compared to a facility like this?
I'll let him explain a little bit. I'm only 2.5 years in this position. I could give a little bit, but he can probably explain.
So home confinement, we have residents in the community now that are from this area that are not at the residential center. They're on what's called home confinement. And essentially, one of the things I did was, I'm not a big fan of those ankle bracelets and so forth. And it was the emotion with the female population. When the transition was made to the device I'm going to talk about, it just didn't dawn on me. But a young lady came to me and said, "Thank you." And I said, "What for?" She goes, "I don't want to wear a dress because I have to wear this ankle thing." So what I had done was I switched it to what's something called Track Tech. It looks like an Apple Watch with a tether. And basically what that does, it allows us to follow all movement, all GPS coordinates, put time zones and restrictions and so forth. So if I have a job and I have to be at the shipyard from 5 to 10, I can put restrictions, how much time it takes you to get there, how much time it takes you to get back, so forth till you get to your home, and we track them that way. So that's what home confinement is. It's kind of like a graduated step, and these folks have secured a job, they have secured a placement, and just because they're out there, that doesn't mean they're just out there and that's the only way. We check on them on a weekly basis with their employer, and we do unannounced checks at their homes and so forth.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, that closes the public hearing.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I move that CU-2026-2-0002 Core Civic Inc. Move forward with a approval.
I second that.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
I just wanted to make a comment that I just wanted to commend the planning department for the work that they've done on this project. And so, because I know that that's not, you will put a lot of work in, right? And so I just wanted to make the statement on the record that I feel like every table of decision has different priorities that they're responsible for. And so I recognize that the planning department, their responsibility is to ask some questions about rules and regulations and the comp plan and, how does this affect the last conditional use permit? And so, and I hope they never stop doing that. I feel like part of this table of decisions responsibility is to also ask another question, and that's every city's responsibility for goodwill. And so, so I'm in support of this, not in conflict with the planning department, but I feel like we're picking up another question at this point, and every city's responsibility isn't just for economic development, it's also for goodwill towards people. And so I just wanted to make that statement on record.
So again, just as a point of clarification, the motion and the second was to
Approve this
override the denial and approve.
Correct.
Approve.
It's to
Okay.
approve the conditional use permit.
All right.
Okay.
Now, just another question for planning. Was there any other concerns besides just simply the fact that the prior request was for the 84 and to stop, or the number and stop?
Well, our concern was really the concentration of these types uses, the group uses in this particular location. And that was one of the reasons why it was 84 and stop, because, this is a conditional use permit, and as long as there's land and as long as there's availability, then it just continues to grow and grow and grow. So at some point, we wanted to limit the group use at this location.
And that is my concern, not that we don't have group homes in Newport News, but it's already in a non-conforming location, and conditions were made saying we're not going to grow any larger than this. It's like living in a residential neighborhood and someone puts on a 1,000 square foot addition, and then puts on another 1,000 square foot addition, puts on another 1,000 square foot addition, till they've got all the way up against the allowable building allowances for the property. And I think that's the concern here, is that this location is done. They need to find another location to expand.
I commend every comment made by the group, but obviously I'm sitting here in support of it, and so I want to just commend your comments about the planning commission, because the amount of review and the process and all the components that go into the suggestions to our commission, absolutely I never overlook, and I think are extremely important. With that said, at least me personally, I feel like we've heard from the applicant, we've heard from a gentleman who is not just a corporate executive, but has been in the criminal justice, and he's been in the system, it sounds like his entire professional life, and he understands every aspect of it, and to hear his passion, and then also to hear the passion of his local leadership, to be able to, I've worked in community spaces. I helped co-found a community health center blocks away from this years ago, and to be able to adequately staff and give space and to make people comfortable and to not crowd, to me, all the things heard today overwhelm the concerns presented by planning. So that's just my position. These facilities are needed. I'm surprised we only have one. I understand the programming. I think I hear it loud and clear. But I think this is an important asset of our community, and we should support his corporate team's investment in making it nicer for both the staff and the residents.
But I do also hear Commissioner Shook in saying, okay, so what's the stop line? If we now move from 50-something, 80-something, now we're at 96, what's the line that we say?
What if they come back in 3 years and say they want to go to 112?
Well, then it would be that commission's responsibility to weigh that decision. And I would also say, I appreciate also that it's operating on a non-conforming lot. I feel like that would be relevant if there wasn't already a reentry services program operating there, but there has been something like that happening there since 1988. So I feel like referring to it as a non-conforming lot is a little bit unfair to the program. Technically, it's a non-conforming lot, but we've been allowing this service to operate there for decades. So for me personally, adding office space doesn't seem to me to infringe on the community in any way. So.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? And I just wanted to also give you all some information. Basically, this is a non-conforming use. My understanding, the lot is not a non-conforming lot, but it's a non-conforming use. And under our zoning ordinance, non-conforming uses are permitted as long as they meet certain requirements under 452901. And the one in particular that would be relevant in this situation is the uses of such buildings or structures shall conform to the regulations of the district in which they are located whenever they are enlarged, extended, reconstructed, or structurally altered, except as provided elsewhere in this article. And so the concern would be whether or not the proposed enlargement is in any way in violation with any of the requirements of our zoning ordinance. If it's not, then the non-conforming use is permitted to continue. And in this situation, if you have a conditional use permit, it's permitted.
Right.
So in answer just to your question, Commissioner Shook, how far do you go? The parameters are kind of outlined in 452901, and as I just read.
So then the bigger question is, do we need to change zoning?
No. No, there's no, this is a request for conditional
I'm saying the
use
future thing. I'm saying if it's right now non-conforming use, do we need to change the zoning so that it's conforming use?
No. The conditional use permit that they received earlier made it conforming by the conditional use permit.
Right.
That's clarification.
Good question.
Yeah, it just clarified.
Yes.
I would like to associate myself with the comments of the commissioners on either side of me and add to the applicants, thank you for what you're doing. I could tell, especially in your discussion of allowing a woman who likes to wear dresses, finding a way to let her do that with dignity. That really spoke to me. And I appreciate that there are people like you all doing this sort of work in our community.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, okay, Bill?
Just two questions. Do y'all work mostly with the Department of Corrections, Virginia Department of Corrections?
We do not. We work,
Come to the mic, sir.
me specifically with.
Come to the mic. Come to the mic.
My apologies. We do not. Me specifically, the Department of Justice, State of California, State of Wyoming, but we work with 30 different states, Virginia not being one.
Okay. Do the two of you live in Newport News?
She does.
She does. I do not. I have to travel when all the sites are.
So you live in your car?
I live, pretty much. I live in a Marriott, or a Hampton Inn, or a Holiday Inn. I have a home, but it's just there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I would just also like to say that to compare like these folks that are really trying to get a leg up, they've done their time, and to say that they're going to contribute to the homelessness population around this area is a little inappropriate, and I do appreciate you guys and what you are doing. So
And again, I just think overall, we've been trying to tackle over the last year or so more accommodations for women, not only just the homeless population, which we agreed to a place also on Ward Boulevard, less than a quarter mile away, but now hearing this, again, to help women re-enter, you know, just like men, and to be able to find a space for that with safety is definitely that act of goodwill that our commissioner has brought out, so.
Okay, call roll.
Commissioner Michaud,
4.
Commissioner Williams,
4.
Commissioner Taylor,
4.
Commissioner Archer,
4.
Commissioner Black,
4.
Commissioner Bowditch,
4.
Commissioner Lambert,
4.
Commissioner Shook.
Against?
Motion carries 7-1.
Thank you.
Sir.
This will be heard at City Council on April 28th, 2026. Next on our agenda is the Executive Secretary report.
Oh, I guess I have to say good evening now. It's after 5.
Yeah.
Okay, on April the 8th, just a reminder, you all have a work session to continue to go over the update of the comprehensive plan. And also, there's a meeting scheduled tonight for the public at Denby Community Center from 6 to 7:30. And there's another one tomorrow night at Downing Gross from 6 to 7:30.
No, you can come up there with me now. That's what I'm trying to get to. Come on.
Also, on April the 15th, the Planning Commission will hear 2 special exceptions, one for a non-conforming lot of record on Hampton Avenue, and the other for a non-conforming use at 705 Industrial Park Drive. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, committee reports.
We've had a regulation committee meeting since our last meeting here. We discussed the, oh God, it's been a minute.
I think it was floodplain.
Floodplain?
Yeah, floodplain, yes. And we have more discussions to come on that, so we'll continue that conversation at our next scheduled meeting. And that's all I have.
Do I speak as being representative on CBDG?
You can.
You can.
I am on the CBDG, which is Community Block Development Grant. We reviewed all of the applicants, and we have met with them. Part of that issue is still determining what federal funds will actually be available. But we did hear the request, and as of right now, assuming all funding will happen, the recommendations that was given to us by, is that development?
Yes.
By development, will be passed.
Okay, I don't think we have any unfinished business. Does anyone have any new business?
I do. I mean, this is kind of outside of all of this. I found something to do with my retirement time. I coached this little league basketball team called the Mighty Mites. They're tights. They're Hampton. Well, anyway, they're winning the championship right now. They're 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and we're playing in the championship game tomorrow night. So I wish them nothing but the best of luck. They got a great coach.
And I'm sure they're watching.
Their parents will be watching. It's a Tri-City Hurricane 8U Orange team.
Okay.
This is the little kiddies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good work today.
Any other new business? More
Great.
No.
Come on,
No,
Ben.
no, and no.